Right, okay. Oh, street talk time. I'm so excited for this. It's funny because, we've talked about a lot of it beforehand on we talked about Monday's episode quite a lot on the extra bonus podcast we did this week. Oh, do it all over again because I definitely enjoyed this week's Coronation Street quite a lot. And I'm very pleased to have enjoyed this week's Coronation Street quite a lot considering, there have definitely been some weeks in recent times where has been a bit more of a struggle to find enthusiasm with a whole lot of what went on screen. But yeah, I thought it was a pretty cracking week this week, didn't you?
I'm glad we did the episode right after Monday to get our initial reactions because it all changed in one episode, isn't it?
Yeah, and tonight's episode, we managed to stay spoiler free all day.
Yeah.
Very, very, very pleased with that. Literally, I was like, I'm not even opening Twitter. I'm not going on YouTube. Didn't even open Reddit all day. I was like, there is no way that anything from tonight's episode is going to be spoiled for me. And I managed it. And I will say, I'm going to pat Coronation Street on the back and say, you did it. You kept some things unspoiled. We didn't know this was going to happen. Well, I mean, we guessed, but it's not the same thing. This is exactly the opposite of what I was having a good old moan about the other week, where they just can't help themselves but say, hey, everybody, this is what's going to happen in our show. They didn't say that Becky was coming back. They didn't say that Tyrone was being hit by a car. That is the way that you do a soap. That's the way that you keep audience on the edge of their seat. And that is the way how you get people talking about it and gasping. Because, yeah, this was a really, really good week. I hear that Emmerdale was quite good this week as well.
Yes.
So it's a good one for ITV soaps, and I suppose it just so happens to have been National Television Awards week. Not that it's in Coronation Street or Emmerdale any good, but more on that later. But yeah, I'm proper buzzing about this week's episodes, and I think it's going to be a high scored one from me. So I don't know. How do you want to? Should we just kind of run through this as normal and chat as we go? Are there any kind of initial things that you want to get out of the way first, like we often do?
Just run through it, yeah.
So we've got the big story this week, the Swarla story, Beck from the dead. And who'd have thought that we'd ever see this happening? We have got then, that's going to take up most of the discussion, to be fair, but we do have a little bit of the by Webster storyline because and Abby is back this week, isn't she?
Yes.
Yeah, sorry.
I'm really sorry. I was thinking about Becky's hair.
What? Why? Long Becky hair or short Becky hair? Photo Becky hair or 2025 Becky hair?
I don't know. Is that Amy Cudden's hair?
I don't know. I think she's got short hair in real life.
She does have short hair in real life.
But she must have been a wig in the photo.
Hastily cut. I don't know. I don't want to say anything rude about someone's if it's real hair.
When you're on the run,
I was just thinking of the band, the artist Beck and his song "A Devil's Haircut."
What's wrong with that? I haven't noticed. These just look kind of scruffy. No, I thought it didn't bother me. Anyway, I can't remember.
Well, maybe Lisa thought it was like a devil's haircut because she liked her hair long. She said that she didn't like her with short hair.
This is
but
true.
If I was going to disguise myself, I'd have to cut my hair, wouldn't I?
I think that they need to get Roy Cropper on some kind of job in police station, because I'll tell you what, there's not many people that would have looked at that picture of happy family bliss and then gone, that was the person that I spoke to for about 3 seconds in the hospital last week.
I'm going to say this, I forgot to talk about this on the bonus episode. I do think that Roy is a super recogniser, which is a real thing. And because me and Rachel on Monday were sitting there with the photo of Becky Swain that they showed of her with long hair with Lisa and Betsy, and we were looking at Becky and the photo that was of Becky, going, "Is that the same woman? Is that her? Do you think that's her? It doesn't look like her."
I know what you mean. I know it's.
I can't even tell it's her from a photo next to her.
When it literally is.
This is why you can do as many crimes as you want around me. I won't know what the hell's going on.
And I'm usually pretty face blind anyway. But yeah, well done for Roy for that. Although his revelation to Carla did come a little bit late. Anyway, we got the by Webster storyline / flat Tyrone, which is my poor attempt at
You're not going to be laughing if it turns out it's serious, are you?
He's going to be all right. He's just got a few damaged bits in the spine. He's going to be okay. You
don't need it for much, do you?
No, he's going to be all right.
They can replace that these days, right?
We also had a bit of a pregnancy storyline this week, which is usually not cause for celebration in Conversation Street Towers, is it? But it was David and Shona, and I couldn't be more chuffed with them. Show Me the Mummy is the storyline title for that one this week. And
As in Shona. Me, the mummy.
Yes, exactly.
I know, but it's not show me the mummy and it's Shona. It's
show dash me the mummy.
She's saying me the mummy.
It works better written down.
It always does.
Right, let's get started with this Carla storyline then. And if we just kind of run through things and talk about our reactions as we happen. I'm really interested to see how your thoughts changed after today's episode, because we were watching today's episode and you've given it a bog standard on
I told
show,
you I didn't know what to. I was like, I can't score this really. I don't know what I think about it. I tell you what it was. On Monday's episode, after we finished it, there was so much potential, right? If anything could be true. Anything could be true about what Becky was doing here. And so all the possibilities in my mind were kind of all happening at once, simultaneously. And it seemed like ripe for all these opportunities and storylines and what's going to... intriguing. And then on Friday, we found out the answers to quite a lot of the questions. And I was a bit disappointed with the answers.
I mean, I think sometimes you can speculate yourself into a frenzy, can't you?
I don't know what you mean.
And then the actual answer is obviously never going to meet up to those high expectations, especially when you're like, oh, what if it's this, what if it's this, what if it's this? Because often one answer is going to be more or less exciting than 10 what ifs.
This is why I like mysteries.
Yeah, unresolved mysteries is one of your favourite things.
Well, if it's a solved mystery, it's not mystery anymore, is it? It's just something that happens.
This is true. Yes, I'm not disappointed with the outcome particularly, and it hasn't all been answered, has it? There are definitely questions to be asked, but I'm sure they will come in due course. Right. Anyway,
what's wrong with you, you bitch?
The biggest mystery that I want to solve this week actually is what's going on with Becky and her age. Because I'm sure it wasn't Betsy, sorry, her age. Why do they have to have names that are so similar, these two? Is it a little bit...
Well, she's Elizabeth and she's Rebecca.
I suppose, yeah.
Actually,
they're quite classic, very Jane Austen.
I know, if I'd had girl children and I was solely in charge of naming them, I would have called one of them Elizabeth and one of them Rebecca. Oh, because they're brilliant names.
Yeah, it has made it a little bit hard to type my notes. There's one I'm typing really quickly. They're both quite similar.
Do you know what? It would have been a cool thing if you had cats all your life and everyone's called Elizabeth but they each have a different nickname and you wait until you know them better before you pick what their nickname is.
Anyway, as I was saying, Betsy,
just an idea,
18 years old this week, and we knew this was coming, but hang on a minute, last year she was 16. What's going on there then? Coronation Street. We were literally just talking a few weeks ago about Ardy and Asher and how they were aged up a year, weren't they, to fit a storyline, and we said luckily Corrie doesn't do that very much, but this is 100% confirmed now, because on screen last November, I think it was, Betsy was referred to as being 16 and now she's 18, so I just don't know who to trust anymore. Maybe this is her secret identity as an 18-year-old. She needs witness protection too.
There's definitely something going on with the fact that she's legally an adult.
There's got to be.
Because Becky kept saying it over and over again. And it can't just be that they aged her up so that Lisa couldn't stop Becky from seeing her, because that's dumb.
I mean, I suppose it ties in narratively with now you're 18, you can have this necklace. Becky said that when I was 18, I'd be able to go to Disneyland Paris, and you don't usually get big promises like that for your 17th birthday. It's very much like one of the most significant birthdays of your life, and something mind-bendingly shocking is going on. A bit like with Leanne, because I think it was her 30th birthday when Stella popped up, wasn't it? And she met her real mum for the first time. Not that Betsy's met her mum yet, but as much as Lisa tries to stop it, I'm sure that's going to be happening very soon. But does it bother you particularly that Betsy is now a year older than she's supposed to be?
No, I feel like this is what they want. They want to wear us down.
Yeah, I think it probably... I don't think at the time I was particularly bothered about Ardy and Asher. I probably didn't even realise at the time, to be honest. But... This
is why you're supposed to resist all these changes, because once they do it and nobody cares, they've got artistic licence to do anything they want now, and just like, it just changed everything. And it's bad enough when people come from living in Germany their whole lives with not even a trace of German accent, don't even know how to pronounce a W in German.
Wankenkraft.
No, you know what I mean? I know the joke wouldn't have landed, but it would have made more sense. He knew how to say it properly.
I think this one bothers me less because it only means that one line last year was wrong, in the same way that Kevin's one line that it must be terrible to lose a son was wrong is a little slip up. Whereas with Ardy and Asher, aging them up a year is literally no. We saw them being born this many years ago, but now you're saying they're that years old, and it pretty much retcons the whole of the past. Well, how old are they when it happened? 10. The whole of the past 10 years of the soap.
To nitpick about Betsy, it is frustrating that they didn't plan in advance when they really should have known what they were doing.
Yeah, I wonder,
a year ago they really should have known what they were doing.
I mean,
with their story.
Yeah, because I think when Sydney came into
known.
the programme, Sydney Martin, it was it's Betsy, her 16-year-old daughter, and I think that would have been kind of decided probably, God, I don't know, 2 years ago. I don't know how far in advance these things are plotted out, but I knew that when I did my interview with Vicky Myers spring last year, it was all very much decided, she's got this 16-year-old daughter. But, I mean, having a dead mum who comes back to life does kind of seem to write itself somewhat. So, yeah, maybe they did know all along this was going to happen. I'd love to know. I really, really would. I need
Corrie people to be taking notes and diaries about all this when things are decided, because maybe you don't want to tell us now, but please, in the future, in your autobiographies, whatever, nobody writes books about it anymore. You know, we used to get producers writing books about their memories and things of working on the show. And I just don't think that's ever going to happen again. And there are so many bits of information about how things were formulated. I don't know.
It doesn't matter, we are nitpicking, but it is another retcon, and there's a still fairly uncommon occurrence on Coronation Street. But yes, if anyone was noticing or wondering or speculating or whatever, she was definitely 16 in November, according to the dialogue, and now she's 18. Oh well, let's move on. Scene 1 on Monday's episode. So it's all very prophetic, isn't it? Because Carla's wrestling now with Betsy's birthday balloons, her 18th birthday balloons. David was brilliant all week this week, wasn't he? As the starring role in the C story of the week, he was on point. And when it was him that goes up to Carla and makes a comment about her age, and she looks young for her age at 81, doesn't he? And yeah, he didn't falter all week.
Yeah, of this. So it's only 2 episodes this week.
Yes,
and they were Monday and Friday, but they all took place on the same day.
Yes, that's right. But anyway, as I say, it was quite prophetic because one of the balloons deflates as Lisa tries to take it into the house. So
there's just so many bad omens around. I mean, Lisa's saying we're indestructible last week, and then the cat drowning when the flat flooded. Yeah,
let's just say we're not going to see that cat
again, the
balloon
again, deflating, and the fact that somebody accidentally ordered a giant novelty shell of a cake for Betsy's birthday.
Do you think that was a fake cake?
Yes, I said it was a fake cake.
I think
Roy
made
her
a
carrot cake. Are you kidding me? It looked like one of those boxes they used to use during World War II to cover the real cake, because it looked like a sad little, we've got to defeat Hitler by not using eggs in our cake.
It definitely stood out, that cake, as having somewhat artificial look to it, but I think I thought it was like just a really fancily, expensively designed cake.
No, it looked really super fake, and I'm sorry, but none of those women who live in that house eat carbs. Don't tell me.
And they had 2 cakes between the 3 of them. I don't know.
I know, and like a 3-tiered cake for a girl who literally has no friends.
Well, maybe we'll find out the answer to that next week when we see David go into his bin saying, "Who's been throwing a cake in my bin?" Oh, I'll have this.
Yeah, I'll scoop it out. Yeah, I mean, Betsy, where's her friends? Becky might as well have taken her undercover on the run.
I know, Betsy's got no friends for her 18th birthday. It's very tragic, isn't it? Just Brodie and Dylan.
Uncle Rai.
Yeah.
Two little scroats, one of which might have gotten knocked up, but maybe not yet.
Where was Sabrina?
I know.
No, who knows?
She probably likes cake.
I bet she does. She's a competitive eater, wasn't she?
Yeah, she was. Takes them home for Gav as well. He probably tucks them away.
Well, I don't know if you've seen the actor who plays Gav on Instagram these days.
I haven't.
He's trimmed down quite a lot, actually. I'll have you know.
Maybe he needs feeding up.
So anyway, Betsy comes to the cafe for this birthday lemonade from Roy and gets a call from...
That's really sad.
I know it is, isn't it? She gets a call and it's like, oh yeah, we had a good night together last night. And I've even written in my notes here that it's Brodie, but obviously it turns out it was Dylan, because they've had some clandestine bonking in between this and last episode. I don't think it kind of...
Yeah,
it wasn't particularly signalled, was it?
No, Betsy's been out all night. She's just come in from being out partying
from Dylan's
for some
house.
Birthday lemonade, which... Is that a secret code at Roy's for I want a glass of water with some Alka-Seltzer in it, please?
Yeah, probably. But I know at the end of... Because they had that scene in the Ginnell on Friday, didn't they? Which was Brodie and Dylan playing football, as you do.
With her going... She invited him to a party. Do you remember?
Yeah.
And who's eating any cake? Nobody.
You got the idea that Dylan kind of fancied Betsy, but it was still a bit of a surprise reveal later in the episode when it happened. But anyway,
Brodie's the kind of like guy that all the girls would go for in a fictional show, you know, like he's the taller guy. He's got the hair and the classical. I don't know. He always looks to me like Hercules.
Yeah. I know
He's
what
got
you mean.
the Greek nose. He looks very noble. If you sprayed him white and told him to stand still, you could stick him anywhere.
Stick him on a plinth.
Stick him on a plinth and we'd take him straight to the British Museum, because that's what we do in this country.
So Betsy goes back home and she starts to get her presents. Bottle of pink booze, I don't know, whatever it was.
It was supposedly Sambuca, but I did not believe... I've never heard of this, pink Sambuca.
Well, maybe somebody needs to get you some.
I'm
not offering to get you some, but...
I don't think I want any.
What are you drinking at the moment?
I'm drinking some rosé that we bought on holiday.
I was going to say you got a bit of a pink drink there yourself this evening. Anyway, she's got a pink booze from Ryan, and then Roy comes round with a carrot cake, which is her favourite apparently. Well, that's a bit sad as well, isn't it? I don't want to disparage anyone who loves carrot cake, but for an 18-year-old to have carrot cake, it's not a favourite cake though, is it? Is it anyone's favourite cake?
I tell you what, I'd rather have that than chocolate cake, because I like the frosting. And you know, I've heard the saddest thing. What? I'm just going to hold your hand.
Yeah, what's this?
Cinnabon is not having any more shops in the UK now.
What? None?
Yeah.
Or just no more?
They tried to move into Scotland, and Scotland said no.
Yeah.
And now they've taken their Cinnabons home.
So they all closed, the Cinnabons in the UK?
Apparently they're moving out of the UK.
Oh my gosh.
I'm going to see if I can order some.
No, don't. Right, so anyway, she's got a carrot cake, and Roy is there just kind of watching the spectacle that's going on as Ryan and Lisa and Carla and all that to start downing these pink shots. And yeah, Roy's a little bit out of his depth there and doesn't want to partake, but he does. I love this, because this was the moment, wasn't it, where he's like, Roy's recognised the photo, because we'd seen the photo of Lisa and Betsy and Becky on the mantelpiece earlier, and even then we was like, I think we probably paused it then and said, that's the woman from Friday, because we'd been speculating quite heavily on last week's podcast. This has got to be Becky. All this sneaking around, it was a little heavy-handedly done. It was very heavy-handedly done on Friday's episode, but I didn't realise that it was going to come out quite so soon.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
I
know. I was expecting there to be more hints. I think they went a bit nuclear with this, which I guess is
but it was good.
A good idea to stop spoilers.
Yeah, exactly. I think it was 100% for the best. They ripped the plaster off that 100%. And yeah, Roy was there looking at the photo, and we were going, he's seen it. He's seen Becky. What is he, a super recogniser, did you say?
Yes.
And he doesn't say anything about it then. But yeah, it's very, very exciting. So they crank up the music. Ryan leaves. Lisa's like, I can't remember how I've written in my notes here. Lisa asked Ryan if he's okay, and he says he's fine, but maybe that was nothing. I can't remember. Then David comes round, because he's still doing his Norris act and has come to have a moan about the volume. They basically tell him to jog on, although Lisa does promise to try and keep it down. We did. I can't remember whether we put the subtitles on for this or not, but as he leaves, he does say "Happy Birthday, Betty," doesn't he?
Yes, he does, and he knows her name's Betsy, because later on he calls her Betsy when he's talking to Shona or somebody.
Yeah, but has someone come round and corrected him in the meantime, maybe? But
no way.
That was a brilliant.
He's so petty that I like to think he did it on purpose.
I know, just
on
to wind
a
her up.
birthday.
I would
didn't even have to say it.
Almost to me sounded like a Jack P. Shepherd ad-lib, that line, as he was leaving. I'm sure it wasn't, but it sounded like it could have been one to me. But yeah, great stuff. Betsy tells Lisa, it doesn't matter. Let's wind things down a little bit. I need to go into town anyway. She doesn't really fancy a family meal. They have a bit of a standoff, don't they? With Betsy, rather she wants just a bit of time away from the family.
Sad. I thought this was really sad.
What, that she doesn't want to be with her mum, her sole remaining mum on her birthday.
Yeah, because she didn't end up really doing much at all because she didn't have any plans with Dylan and Brody. And I would have been in so much trouble if my mum and dad had planned something for me for my birthday and I was like, no, I'm going out, I'll see you later. That would never have happened in my house. I wouldn't have had anything for dinner.
Do you remember what you did at your home for your 18th birthday?
Yes, I did.
On your 18th birthday?
Yes, I did.
What did you do?
I had a bouncy castle.
I know. Oh, is that on your birthday? I know you had a bouncy castle for your 18th.
My uncle got it for me. That's great.
Cool. Me and Dad.
I was so pleased with myself.
Me and Dad and Mark went to TGI Fridays for my 18th birthday.
Up the road.
Yeah.
The classic.
Milkshake and a steak. Yeah, exactly.
Did you?
Yeah, I did.
Well, was it good though? Back in those days, was it good?
I think probably it was.
It's crap now.
It's crap. You know, this was only 3 months before I met you, and my tastes have improved somewhat since then.
Just imagine your dad
broadened my palate
in TGI Fridays, avoiding all vegetables.
Yeah.
They're not difficult to do in TGI Fridays.
We get a scene with Dylan and Brody in the cafe later, and this is where it starts to come out that. Oh, so Brody wasn't with Betsy last night. I can't remember what he says, but his dialogue made it very clear that he wasn't with Betsy, and that kind of got our brains ticking. Like, who did she have a great night with then?
Can I just revisit this? This is actually quite sad, isn't it?
Why?
Because I bet your dad wanted to take you to the pub, didn't he?
I think by the time I'd reached my 18th
I know, but I bet
birthday,
he had completely different visions of what your 18th birthday was going to be like. Like, take your son to the pub, the local, for his first pint out.
Yeah, I know.
And you just wanted a milkshake.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. Different stuff. And you, look, I had a milkshake.
Yeah, I know.
You had a bouncy castle.
I did, yeah.
We're not maybe the typical
I don't
18-year-olds.
care. I don't care.
I had a lovely time.
I'm sure you did. And I'm sure your dad doesn't mind at all.
We see Evelyn with Roy in the cafe later, and she's telling him about doing Pilates for his back, but his mind is on something else. He's seen that photo at number 6, and she's like, what's gone on? What's gone on? I can't remember when it was he says it, but later in the episode he's like, I've seen something that I shouldn't have been able to see.
Yeah,
doesn't he?
Which is a very cool and cryptic. I wonder what people were thinking when they... Because I bet you quite a lot of people didn't even pick up on Becky on Friday.
No, even though it was about as subtle as a brick for us, that woman, the sneaky woman in the hospital, there'd have been a lot of people that wouldn't notice, so there would have been a real mystery. We still don't know around what Roy's seen.
Why she was at the hospital.
No. I've seen people wondering whether she works at the hospital. But
are you joking? That's dumb.
Well, no, this was in the, between Monday's episode and today, and I think it's somewhat unlikely now that she works there, but we still knew nothing about her backstory when she popped into the lounge at the end of Monday's episode.
Does she have any other clothes? I know this whole week was one episode, but she also was wearing the same thing on Friday, and it's super grody. You know?
How many coats do you have, madam?
I have other outfits. I don't actually have a coat at the
moment. Anyway, so where are we up to? Betsy. She's
a character. Okay. She's got a whole wardrobe. What are you trying to say?
It'll come in time. Don't worry about it.
Like is she? Okay. The question I have that still hasn't been answered: is she still undercover or in disguise or on the run? Because if she's not, what's she wearing the outfit for? It's awful.
Maybe that's the height of fashion in Spain, Gemma.
It could be. And Green Mac. She put her hood up when she went out of the house. Like, who is going to recognise you apart from Roy for some reason?
Yeah. Anyway, where was I up to? Betsy, she's all dressed up, and unlike Becky, apparently, ready to go out later. And Lisa's like, well, why are you being weird? Have I done something to annoy you? Who are you going out with? And Betsy is very, very evasive and say, look, just stop being so controlling, Mum. You hate the idea of me having a life outside, yeah? And then eventually it all boils down to, yeah, I slept with somebody last night. It was Dylan, and it's none of your business how long it's been going on either. So what did you think that the narrative purpose of this argument going on was in this episode? Did it help make things extra dramatic that Lisa and Betsy had a bit of a fallout?
I don't know. I never had anything like this with my parents, or especially my mum. I know that lots of people always like to say, oh, you know, girls and their mums, such a fraught relationship. I have never had any kind of conversation like this. with anybody in my life, let alone my mum. It's so strange to me. But I guess what I'm trying to say is, I guess this is a very normal relationship to have as a teenage girl and being rebellious.
I think it worked in this episode pretty well because they made up again, and Betsy apologises to her mum later on. And so often in Corrie, we're used to seeing the kids falling out with the parents, and then at the end of the episode, or a week later or whatever, they say, "Oh, I'm really sorry," and everything's happy
Back
for now.
normal.
And when that happens later in the episode, you think, "Oh, okay, so everything's going to be fine." But this is before the big sting in the tail at the end of the episode, which maybe makes the sting feel even stingier. I don't know.
I mean, maybe there's some kind of repressed grief here because she's sad that her other mum isn't with them, and that's why she brings up that she was supposed to be going to Paris.
Yeah, I guess so. But
can I just say Paris and Disneyland Paris are two different places?
Yeah.
If you said to me, "Let's go to Paris," I go, "Oh God," and then we go, and it was Disneyland Paris. I go, "What? What do you mean?"
Not the same thing.
It's not the same thing. It's like we're going to Windsor and take you to Legoland. It's not, just because it's there in the general vicinity. They're two completely different things.
Well, later on, Betsy's... See, I'm doing it already. This is going to be a long-running thing. Betsy's out.
Do you want me to put a shock collar on you?
Yeah,
and every time you say the wrong word.
Lisa and Carla are there on the sofa, hand in hand, and Lisa's being reassured by Carla. Look, Betsy's going to be okay. Don't worry about it. Tell me more about Becky. Let's talk about Becky. Let's warm our audience up for understanding a bit about your relationship with Becky. Let's just do a bit of fourth wall break in here. So we learn that Becky and Lisa used to be constables together. They used to be PCs. And thank you very much, Coronation Street, for name dropping the bill in, and for the listeners that tweeted us this week as well and said, "Oh, Michael's going to enjoy the reference to the bill." I did.
I can imagine them with their little hats. Their little hats. They used to wear little hats.
Yeah, they did, yeah.
I used to like those hats. And the little dicky bow thing, whatever it was.
For anyone who doesn't... I mean, we've talked about the bill lots of times, and everyone says Coronation Street is the bill these days, but the ending credits, back in the early days of the bill, used to be just the feet of two bobbies walking the beat, going away from the camera, didn't it? And it was
a man and a
iconic.
lady.
Yeah, it was. I think it was
because it was heteronormative.
Jim Carver and June Ackland.
Back in the day, you'd never get two lady cops getting off with each other. Can you
no,
believe
just
it?
imagine that. Well, that could have been the twist at the end of the bill, couldn't it? The camera pans up and it's two women. It's like,
yeah, that's right. I'm wearing trousers. We're allowed.
Anyway,
we've got the vote as well.
Yeah, Lisa's feeling obviously very sorry for herself based on that last conversation she had with Becky, and she was like saying, "Oh, yeah, good cop, bad cop." Well, Becky was left with the bad cop, wasn't she? So she's feeling... Betsy was left... There goes the shot colour. Betsy was left with the bad cop, wasn't she?
So I'm going to fill in some blanks here, right? Because I think, based on what I've seen of Becky and her, what's it called? Fantastical thinking that she seems to have. I bet you that Becky used to be the permissive parent who'd always be like, "Oh yeah, well, I'll take you," like never thinking about the practical things, always letting her do whatever she wanted to do, letting her stay up and eat sweets and everything, being the fun parent, and making Lisa have to do all the hard stuff and the proper work of being a parent and discipline and all that kind of stuff. And so that's why Lisa feels guilty, and why there's this kind of thing. And also the idea of being, go to Disneyland. Maybe that's what... I don't know whether Betsy wants to go to Disneyland. It's a bit different now for adults. It's more of an adult thing to do. But when I was a kid, I don't think I would have wanted to go to Disneyland necessarily when I was 18.
Well, I went to Disneyland Paris on the opening year of it, and I just got really bad impressions of it because it didn't feel like it was ready.
Crap.
Yeah, but anyway.
When I was little.
Yeah,
when I was younger.
What you were saying, I guess, ties into Betsy saying that she says, "Oh, my mum was really cool," and I know there's going to be an element of rose-tinted specs there, isn't there?
Well, look,
but you get the idea that you're right. She was the more permissive one.
It's 4 years, right, for Lisa, and she's been in kind of stasis because she's a grown woman and she's not really changed. But for 4 years, for Betsy, those are some of the most formative years of your life.
She's grown from 11 years old to 18 in those past 4 years.
It's astonishing
she?
The progress that she's made. But so she's changed completely, hasn't she?
Yeah.
And that's one of the things that Becky said. Has she grown?
Yeah. Yeah, I can't wait for them to meet. I just cannot wait. It's gonna be. I hope it's Monday.
It's really fabulous performances all week by everybody.
Everybody, every single person was top of their game this week. There was also a scene. It was at the station, wasn't it, when Costello's got a phone call, but he lets it ring out, and I don't think we see.
Do you think he's just like there going, "Oh no, it's bloody Becky again"?
Yeah, I guess it could have been Becky.
Do mobile phones now make a different noise like they used to when you're phoning from a different country?
Oh yeah.
Do they? Because
when you ring somebody, their ringtone is.
Is different. It though? Because
it's not when somebody phones you. It's different.
I don't know.
No.
I know, but it's over the internet now. That's what I'm saying. Is it different?
Oh, no.
All right, you're the expert, are you?
No, Costello. This is the first time he's kind of come up this episode.
Of the podcast.
Yeah. Where are we thinking with Costello? Is he dodgy?
So this is weird, isn't it?
I'm now. I mean, the theory that Becky I was so pleased with my theory that Becky had been investigating Costello, and tonight's episode is like, nope, that's not what happened.
Hang on, Lisa, I think, had Becky's number when she says, "You're telling me half truths here." I think there's so much more to this story.
There is, but I think that we would know if.
No, I think they're throwing us off the scent a bit, and Costello's kind of like come out of this looking like the innocent party again. But I think he is dodged.
He's clearly super shady.
He's too lurky to be a good guy.
Yeah, he has
He's
got that soap
always standing
look
around in the back of a scene, glaring at people.
And the fact that he was permissive of Kit also being a bit dodgy. He was What have we seen Costello doing in the past? I mean, I can't remember all the scenes.
He's really good at peering behind you when you're on the computer.
So Kit was trying to look into Tia Wardley, wasn't he? He had been. And Costello was like, nope. Now, that makes obvious sense now why Costello would do that now. He doesn't want anyone finding out that this poor homeless hit and run victim, has now been scattered ashes somewhere. So no wonder he was trying to shut Kit down on that. Is that corrupt?
No.
No,
of course it's not.
It was just maybe
it's not corrupt because
morally dubious.
No, it's not morally dubious. You're protecting your officer.
Yeah, but
the Tia Wardley thing. Whoever's idea that was is obviously some kind of horrible monster. But everybody else is not their. It's not their decision to make. You can't throw the whole undercover operation into jeopardy because you've got a moral problem with the whole thing is being sneaky and lying and wearing crepe-soled shoes.
What else have we seen him being iffy about?
He just likes glaring.
What was the scene with him and Kit in the office the other week when Kit comes into his office and I can't remember what
he's probably just trying to work out how to download a VPN so I can look at porn again.
And there's also the whole Matty and Logan angle, which hasn't been explored
really
today at all.
What do they know? Why would you trust two criminals as the most integral part of your...
Yes, so Logan knows about Tia Wardley. He knows something about Tia Wardley.
Well, he would know he didn't run somebody over.
But no, Tia Wardley was run over, wasn't she?
Was she actually run over, or was she did they just find her dead?
No, I think that they said that she was
Matty and Logan ran her over.
Yes.
And then they were like... So in theory... They might not know that it wasn't actually Becky, but they're not dumb.
They might not know it wasn't Becky. I don't know if they know who it was.
It depends on how much they know what Becky looks like and how much they saw the person who died. I just can't. This whole thing makes no sense. There's no way in the world that two criminals, run somebody over and then the police come and go, that'll do. It's not like you wanted to make a pie and you'd run over a deer and you're like, brilliant, I can use this. Is it?
But,
this is why I'm a bit disappointed, because this story makes no sense. It's really stupid. Because
you're too good at thinking things too. I'm just being a dumb viewer going, oh, this is exciting.
What was their plan, right, before Tia Wardley got run over by two random scroats? They didn't have one.
No, I don't think there was, but I think they probably were just hoping that something would come along.
That's not what you do when you're in charge of a criminal investigation.
No, but there's lots of different things. I think they always were thinking, so many problems with this. We need to get Becky out of here.
Right, so what did they say? Okay, right. Becky, don't bother packing anything because it will look suspicious. But get ready at a moment's notice to be sent to Spain when we find a dead woman.
No. I'm saying that they were probably thinking about it, and then they would have managed to get it out some other way.
I know, but it's just funny
they
to
would have said,
them.
"Oh, we're burying," and they would have just buried an empty coffin or something like that, and this dropped into their lap, and they thought, "Well, don't look a gift hearse in the mouth." I just came up with that.
That's a good one. Yeah, well done. Lisa never said, "I saw you dead," did she? So it must have been Costello that identified it.
She said they identified your body.
Oh, okay.
We're all over the place.
I know we are, but listen, the other thing that is making me laugh is like how many times in Manchester was there a hit and run and they ran like the police arrive and they're all excited and they run over and they turn the body over and go, "Oh, it's a man."
Yeah.
Oh well.
So are you thinking at the moment Costello is corrupt?
I think he is corrupt, but I think we're not going to think that he's corrupt for a while. I think they're putting it on the back burner. And then Becky is going to go and do something corrupt with him because she won't be able to help herself.
So, and
we'll find out from a clandestine meeting between the two of them.
What's the thing about... So
this isn't the story.
I know we're totally nowhere where we are at the moment.
I mean, what Becky's saying... This is the trouble with Coronation Street and why they shouldn't do police stories. Because you cannot tell the difference between a red herring and them not doing the story properly. Can you? No. Because this doesn't really make any sense. But that makes sense if Becky is covering something else up and she's lying and that's why the story doesn't really piece together properly. Or it's just Corrie going, well, it's not really a police show, is it? You can just make up what we want.
You just like the drums,
You guys aren't going to Google this to find out whether this makes sense.
There was also the whole angle of Becky being investigated for corruption.
Yeah, I know.
There? So
was
that actually a thing? Was she being investigated for corruption? Those papers suggested that she was, but were those forged papers? But there wouldn't have been any. There'd be no point to have faked that she was being investigated for corruption.
No, because she died.
Yeah. But
they didn't really want any attention brought to her whatsoever.
No.
Which is why they dropped it all as soon as she died, in inverted commas, because there's no point investigating it. But why would you put a police officer undercover who's being investigated for corruption?
Yeah. That's what I'm thinking.
And then go, oh, you know what? All of that stuff that we think you might have done, we'll just drop it. You go to Spain, don't worry about it, love.
I don't know. Or was she being investigated for corruption
as part
of the cover? Yeah.
Right. Here's my other question: how is it possible for Becky to be undercover twice in one life? Right, because she's undercover as a gang member, but she's also undercover pretending to be a normal police officer to Lisa and Betsy. Lisa and Betsy don't know that she's gone undercover in a gang. How is Becky covering that she's in a gang to her wife and kid while also pretending to be a police officer? Did she go up to this, what's this guy called, this gang man?
Curtis.
She go up to Curtis and go, Curtis, I will be in your gang, right? I can only go from 9 to 5, Monday to Fridays, with occasional extra time on a Saturday afternoon.
I think it's fine. I mean, police officers work odd hours, don't they? And I think Lisa would have understood.
No. Wouldn't Lisa have gone, where is she at work? She said she was at work. Where is she? How can you... No, this doesn't make any sense.
But maybe she was. She went undercover all the time. I don't know. It wasn't...
When you're undercover as a gang, what do you do? Was it like the white supremacist gang where a lot of it was just eating toast?
I don't think that Lisa... Maybe I'm remembering wrong already. I don't know whether Lisa was surprised that Becky was undercover full stop. I think she was just surprised that she was undercover for the past 4 years.
No, I thought she didn't know that she was undercover with Curtis because she's like, what the hell?
She didn't know she was undercover with Curtis, but maybe she'd been undercover with other criminal gangs. Maybe she...
No, my point is, why lie to Lisa and Betsy? Why lie to Lisa? Lisa's a police officer as well.
But yeah, she did lie about the Curtis thing.
Why do that? Like, you're married to a detective and you're lying to her about something that she could just stumble onto because she gets suspicious and thinks you're having an affair.
I wonder whether she was lying to Carla about this particular undercover because of how dangerous this Curtis allegedly was.
Carla? Lying to Carla?
Yeah, sorry. He's known by...
Lying to
Lisa
okay.
was lying to... No.
What are you saying?
Becky was lying to Lisa, or not telling her that she was undercover on this instance, because she would have thought that Lisa would say, no way, you can't go undercover with Curtis.
It doesn't
That's
matter.
super dangerous.
It doesn't matter.
Pull out.
It doesn't matter. That's not my point. My point is that how can she be undercover with anything without Lisa knowing?
I don't know. Maybe she...
Are you saying that
Maybe
she was
Lisa
like,
thought that she was
I'm undercover with something, but don't tell anybody? But then why wouldn't Lisa go, that's weird that my wife got killed when she was working undercover. I thought she was under investigation for being corrupt. And also, maybe the fact that she got run over by criminals was part of her undercover work and they were getting revenge on her. It doesn't make any sense. If you knew your wife was undercover, right, you would wonder whether her death was linked to that. You would never not wonder, would you? The fact that she's never mentioned, I wonder if my wife was killed by those criminals because she was working undercover. I wonder which gang she was working undercover with then. Lisa wouldn't have dropped it.
Wondered it, but just not on screen.
If Lisa knew that her wife was undercover and then got killed, she would have gone, I'm going to investigate to find out who she was working for undercover, and I won't stop until I find out and get revenge. That's what would have happened.
Yeah.
And also,
it doesn't bother
the other thing
me
that's interesting to me is that they said, because sorry if you haven't seen it, because we haven't explained anything, but we said, Becky said that Curtis died Lisa said Curtis died 2 weeks ago, and everyone was happy. And he's the worst criminal in Manchester. And bloody Becky never once thought to use that as the excuse for why she come back off of being hiding. That would have been what I would have said.
Oh, yeah.
I would have said, I've come back because we can finally be together now because Curtis is dead. That makes me think that's not really what was going on.
I don't know. Look, we've already skipped well ahead just based off one scene of Costello ignoring his phone.
And we don't even know. It might have been what I do when I get a phone call. I'm going to Google that and see later on if it's Southern Water again.
But we're one day into Becky's explanation, and I have on this occasion, every faith in Coronation Street that there will be plenty more explanation to come. I mean, even...
I've got no faith at all in this.
There's got to be a scene with Costello on Monday's episode, surely, and he's going to have his side of the story to tell. So I want to, reserve judgment until we have got the full picture painted out for us. I trust Corrie here.
I'm going to say this.
I don't know why, but...
I don't mind them doing police stuff, but I do mind them doing police stuff. But they need to do police stuff properly. They can't do police stuff like they're making a soap in America. And I'm not being rude to Americans, but you guys know you've got, people being possessed by the devil in yours. This is supposed to be based on real life, and there should be, actual rules and things that really get followed. And like I said, I don't know at the moment if Becky's story is a bunch of hooey because she's lying, or because Coronation Street went, I don't really care about this. This is just because I wanted Becky to be back from the dead. It would have made way more sense to me if it had just been Costello and Becky cooked this up together, and maybe that is what truly happened.
I think I'm discovering that my stance on all this is if I'm entertained enough,
yeah, I know.
I don't mind as much.
I think that's what Corrie thinks.
That's what they're banking on, isn't it?
I think Corrie's like, I don't care. Do you? No.
Yeah, I think...
I'm like, yeah, I do. I do actually.
Yeah, no, I don't mind about this one at all. It's absolutely.
I can't remember. I was going to say something else, and I've forgotten what it is. About this whole thing.
I'm sure we'll have a chance to come to talk about it if it pops into your head later. Back to Monday's episode anyway. Carla, Betsy and Lisa get back to the house after going to the station after this car accident. More on that later. Because
ridiculous.
This part of the story is not going to even touch on the fact that Betsy was nearly hit in a hit and run. That's to come later. But the factory alarm is going off, and it turns out it was just a false alarm.
No, this was Becky putting it on so that she could find...
Was it?
Maybe?
I don't think that they said. Do you?
No, somebody did this. Somebody did this. Yes.
What?
Somebody... the factory was empty and the door has been forced open. I think that Becky's been watching them and she used that as a distraction to make them leave
that
Lisa.
makes sense.
But no, it doesn't make sense, because how did she know that it would be Ryan and Carla that would go and Lisa wouldn't go with them? Because if I was a police officer, I wouldn't let my wife go and investigate a burglar alarm by herself, would you?
I think it's fine. That not bother me at all. I wondered, to be honest, whether it was Brody and Dylan who'd ended up into the factory and they were just trying to find a hideout spot, but clearly it wasn't.
I think this is so funny. It just shows how our lives are. Attitude to life is like so much different. This is why I worry about everything, because I think about stuff way more than you, and you're like, whatever.
I know, I do. I'm just like, yeah,
whatever.
Everything's going to be fine. We could then get this lovely scene with Lisa and Betsy. Kind of Betsy apologises for being a little urchin, a little scrote earlier, and Lisa's like, look, don't worry about it. Present time, and she brings out this lovely necklace that used to belong to Becky. And really a lovely emotional moment. Lisa puts it around Betsy's neck, and Betsy's getting a bit choked up by it. Not because the necklace is too tight, but because it's very, very emotional.
Do you know what the sad thing about this is?
What?
That's not even Becky's necklace, that's Tia Wardley's necklace. They took it off her dead body.
I don't think that's the case. Anyway, Betsy gets a bit choked up by the whole of this and says that she wants to go and have a walk. So that leaves Lisa alone in the house. Roy... Oh, it was at the end. It was towards the end of the hospital when Roy's at the hospital with Evelyn
towards the end of the episode, yeah.
After the Tyrone is hit, and this is when he says, "I saw someone that was impossible to see."
That's a very cool line.
Carla.
I wonder. I bet I can't remember who wrote. I know Jan McVerry wrote.
Didn't Joe write one this week?
He wrote. I thought he wrote the beginning of Monday.
Yeah, maybe.
And Jan McVerry wrote the beginning of Fridays.
Yeah.
But I can't remember, who wrote this. But I bet if I was writing this script, that would be my favourite line. I bet you. You know, sometimes when you...
It was a very Roy way of saying it, wasn't it?
But it's so evocative, isn't it? Mm. It's the sort of thing that you like, if you're writing a short story, you like start with something like that and you're like, what would the story of that be?
Yeah.
I saw someone.
Who saw someone.
It was impossible to see.
Mm. I still... there's a bit of a stretch of credulity that Roy would have recognised her.
Oh, he's always been like this.
Yeah,
he's always been like this since today.
I think if it had been anyone other than Roy, you'd be like, no way. But I think because it's Roy, it's like, yeah, he probably would, wouldn't he? Anyway, final scene of the episode. Lisa's there looking at some family photos. Of course she was. Just so that the audience are under no illusion, no what is the word? Misapprehension at the end of the episode. That is 100% Becky. So she's looking at these Becky photos. Then she hears somebody coming in who she thinks is Carla. Stands up, turns around, massive gasp, drops a wine on the floor. It's flipping well. Becky Swain. She's alive and everything. And she says, "Hello, Lise."
And at this point when we were watching it, I still was not 100% sure that this was really Becky, because I thought this could be another like rug pull, and it could be anybody. It could be like somebody that was her friend or like Becky's best friend or Becky's sister. Could have been anybody. So I had to, because you know when you watch it on ITVX, the credits immediately shrink so they can force you to watch another crime drama. Get those writers on this then. Another boring crime drama about a detective with a sad background and his new young plucky partner who's got a secret. Anyway,
not yet jaded by the realities of the force.
And so the credits shrink, and I had to like grab the remote and like try to make them big, and to see that yes, Amy Cudden is in fact playing Becky Swain. And some people probably who aren't super. Not everybody cares about the internet and going on social media and finding out about Corrie. Some people probably waited until Friday to find out who the hell this woman was.
I know, I mean, it's all the Corrie fandom has been talking about over the past few days, but not everyone is in it quite so deep as some of us super fans are. So yeah,
I do think that ITVX is incredibly disrespectful to both soaps. They don't have them on the front page.
Nope.
Which is...
They're really hard to find.
Actually super rude and arrogant of them. Because it's not just saying... The reason they do it is because they say that Corrie,
fans will know where to look.
Will
so
go
there's no point
seek
advertising them.
But that's so arrogant against your own viewers. You're making my life more difficult because you're taking me for granted. All soap fans listening to this, ITV takes you for granted.
It's a bit like
they do.
My other interest, Nintendo. It's a bit like Nintendo saying we won't put things of Mario on because our fans know who Mario is.
They know what Mario is, and so. hiding the soaps from the front page is absolute dog crap, and also shrinking your credits immediately to advertise your other stuff is so disrespectful to your cast and crew who've made the show for you.
But unfortunately,
I don't
everyone's been doing that for years. If they're not shrunken into a little mini thumbnail like they have on ITVX, they've been shoved off to the side, haven't they?
Find another way of doing it. It's
This is going
disrespectful.
20 years or so. I don't really like it. Because ITV even went through a period, I suppose they're still in it now. I mean, Coronation Street end credits used to be the roofs, didn't it? And now it's just black.
Yep.
And yeah, I remember when they changed, they just like had a standard credit design across all their shows just so that they would be easily shrinkable. But yeah, ITV is not the only ones guilty of this. Anyway, your point was we had to wrestle with the remote to find out that 100% this was Becky Swain, and you were like, I can't believe it, they actually did it.
I was shouting and shouting and shouting.
You were very, very excited.
I was
about
so excited.
This. Yeah.
And then
too.
Friday came.
And we had to wait like 3 days to find out what was going to happen next. No, 4 days to find out what had happened next. This has been the longest 4 days in many a Coronation Street fans' life. And in the interim period, the internet, well, the Corrie fandom, the Swarla fans, They had a lot to say, didn't they? I think Becky has made them... I've not looked loads, but I've seen some. And Becky has certainly made herself a bit of a public enemy number one.
I think a lot of Swarla fans are just like super concerned about the future of Swarla. And I said on Twitter, they're not going anywhere. There's no way. I know they're not going anywhere. And then somebody was like, oh, how do you know? And I was like... oh, I guess people think I'm a soap journalist because I'm making proclamations. Because a lot of the soap journalists are like oracles of Swarla fandom, aren't they? But I know this, like I would put money on this. And Kate Brooks said it at the NTA. Somebody asked her directly and she's like, no, they're fine. They're not going anywhere. They're like, to be cynical, they're the biggest cash cows of the whole show.
Yeah, currently.
It's not, and that's before you even put into the emotional side of it, where, you know, a lot of the people involved in this are actually personally invested in the story of Swarla. It's an important story and characters to the show on so many levels. It would be absolutely impossible to imagine a world where they decided to split them up. Alison King has been, as Carla Connor, one of the biggest characters on the show for as long as she's been in it. You've got the story, which is a really important story because a lot of the people who are creatives on soaps in general are very LGBTQ plus like friendly and you know, part of that themselves, not just allies but part of it. That's an important story for representation for that. They haven't done a lesbian wedding on Coronation Street that's been successful. They've got to do that. They still haven't got that under their belt. Yeah. To get this far with Swarla and not have a wedding would be almost unforgivable. Yeah. And then you've also got the fact that, you know, Kate Brooks has got a similar story. A lot of people talk about that. I don't know if she's ever said it herself. I don't want to put words in her mouth, but I'm just repeating what other people have said. And the fact also that it's causing so much buzz online. It would be absolutely bonkers to imagine a world where Coronation Street got Becky to split these two up.
It was quite interesting that was made very clear throughout Friday's episode, wasn't it? Like, although we had to see...
I'm not telling you it's going to be smooth sailing. They might well split up, but they will end up together. I'm just telling you.
I wondered whether Lisa's attitude of... It was like, I don't want anything to do with you, basically, was a way of sort of early getting in there to assuage the fears of anyone who thought that they might end up getting back together.
I mean...
it's not going to happen. Not a chance.
The thing is also, Coronation Street have got this, and, you know, literature in general, the bury your gays trope and all that stuff, and the stuff that they wrong-footed a bit with Kana, and people got very cross about that, and it's just not worth it for them to break them up. What would they get out of it? It's what I don't understand what people think that Corrie thinks they would get out of it. They're like the most popular couple on I know the thing is, I know they're also quite divisive. A lot of people don't like them because they are so popular, and it's not. I think they're definitely homophobic people who don't like two women being together. But I think a lot of people,
not all of Carla and Lisa. Not everybody who doesn't like Carla and Lisa are homophobic.
It's exactly It's exactly the same as the when we had Jodie Whittaker as Doctor Who. And if you said anything against it, you were labelled as a misogynist instantly, when that's really not the case for a lot of people. But it certainly was a horrible, nasty element of it, for sure. But yeah, don't think for a minute that there will be ups and downs, I'm sure, but they're going to get married. I've got no doubts.
Yeah. I still... we talked on the bonus podcast about is Becky going to be a villain? Is she going to be killed off? It feels like I still wouldn't be surprised.
No, I think she is a villain.
If Becky's gonna, she's going to be killed off by the end of
this. So tell me what you think of her personality.
I found her really intriguing. We were talking as we were watching it, because we had to pause loads as I was writing my notes, didn't we?
So I could shout a bit more.
Yeah, like that she seems to be... Well, she's coming across as quite cocky, and they made that out in the dialogue, that she thought that she was a bit full of herself sometimes. But I think that she seems quite level-headed in a way. She doesn't seem like overly dramatic. She's just to me, she seems like a very much says it what it is, what you see is what you get kind of person.
It's so funny
I really like her so far. Not in a, go Becky, I want you to get in between Carla and Lisa. Nothing like that. I'm finding every scene, every line of dialogue that Becky uttered in tonight's episode, I was captivated by, and I was I want to see more of her. And I was really glad that when they left the park scene, that they still had her later on. I'm sure that there will be some tension, and the fact that they had that scene on Friday's episode where Lisa's there holding Becky's head in her hands, I'm sure that that's a dartboard picture for lots of Swarla fans out there. So yeah, maybe things will happen there. But yeah, I think it's great, and I think I don't know, is Amy Cudden a big actress? Is she well known? I don't know celebrities, but they've really cast well there. And it is going to have to be an actress who's got a lot of thick skin, and I hope that... Stay
off the internet.
Yeah, I hope that, that people are sensible and know that Amy Cudden is playing a role here, and it's a role of an antagonist between a couple that you like, but I think that Amy's doing a really bang-up job. I just want her in every episode at the moment. I need to know more.
I think a lot of people are quite protective of Amy Cudden, and I think the Swarla fan base will definitely look after her because they know that she's playing a role, and they are very on the whole, they're quite emotionally mature people. I think there's definitely a few who are bonkers. We all know that. There's a few bonkers at everybody in any group. But I think to me, Amy Cudden is an excellent actress because I truly believe Becky's a real person. She felt very... Yeah, you're right. She did. And they had to. They knew they had to get it right. They had the backstory for her, and yes, there are still holes to be filled, but she came across as being very genuine right from the off. I don't know.
Genuine person, I mean.
Yeah. It's so funny too, right? Because this relationship, I can't believe that there's a relationship that Lisa Swain is in where she's not the most practical, level-headed person in it.
Yeah.
Because really, Becky is so stoic that she makes Lisa look like an emotive lunatic.
It's funny that she is stoic, like you said, but also, as we were mentioning earlier, the fun, cool one.
She really is so much like many girls I used to know, where they're like this. I've got this stereotype of her in my head. Like, she's the sporty, practical one who was always pulled together, but she was quite fun and a bit of a tomboy, that kind of girl, like George from
the Famous Five.
Famous Five. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I really think that they captured somebody who feels very real with this character, but she's also got this duplicitous side where she doesn't mind telling lies if it serves her purpose. Of course she does, because she's turned her back on her family. And
if you're undercover, you've got to be able to.
And she also, be able to tell a good lie. Being really cocky and very sure of herself, like she called herself cocky and confident. Because there's that scene later on when Lisa and Becky are by themselves in the factory, and Becky sits down at the other side of the table with Lisa, like she's interviewing Lisa as a police officer. You really get this authoritative vibe off of her. And I can't believe, again, that Lisa was the one who looked like she was being interviewed by by the police officer, because normally Lisa's got this real big presence, hasn't she?
But Lisa was knocked for six in today's episode. She's going to be on the back pedal.
But it's interesting, is Lisa's personality going to slightly change now we see her with Becky? Because I think a lot of people know this is to be true. Your personality will often, some people's, will change a little bit when you're with, some people. I think we've all known people who are like chameleons, depending on who they go out with. They have different likes and dislikes. I'm not saying Lisa's like that, but I do wonder whether... Because I think with Carla, she's been given permission to be a bit softer and a bit more vulnerable. And I wonder whether she was ever like that with Becky, or whether she felt Becky pushed her into a more, I'm the grown-up, I'm the bad cop, I'm the parent.
Yeah,
she had to take that role on, and Becky was like, oh no, I'm the fun one. I work hard in my job and I come home and enjoy myself. I'm not worried about when the bins are going out.
Yeah, and which bin we put our things in.
Yeah.
Right, so...
There can't be two women. No, there's three of them. There's four of them now.
We went into Friday's episode pretty blind. I mean, after Monday's episode, ITV did release a few pictures, didn't they, of today's episode, and I didn't want to study them in depth, but I caught a glance of them, so I knew that they'd be talking together, and then Carla would show up at some point. But that's literally all I knew. What did you have any kind of expectations for, or what you wanted to get out of the Friday episode?
I just wanted her to sit down and answer all the questions.
You're just impatient
I was
because
very
she only
frustrated.
answered a few of them.
I also got annoyed because in all the pictures, Becky's got this like big doe-eyed like, whoa, why are you mad at me? Just because I faked my death and went, so not my fault. Whoa. Why am I the bitch? Like, what do you mean? What do you mean? You're not the victim. Stop looking sad.
I don't know whether... Look, let's get to the discussion.
But I do think
she
seems like a super manipulative person, and there are loads of people like this who play the victim when it's them that's done something wrong.
But okay, look, if devil's advocate, then she's been forced pretty much to go and live in another country.
I don't believe it.
On her own.
Okay,
just up sticks, go. Only take one coat with you. And what do you need when you're in Spain? And she's been waiting there. She's been pining after her family. She's not stopped loving her family. I don't. There's no kind of inkling that she doesn't love her family.
I don't believe it for a minute.
If you were like, Gemma, this is for your own good. Yeah. You've got to go and live somewhere else. You can't let them know they exist. I'd say you'd be missing me.
I say it's bollocks. Are you seriously telling me there was no world in which they could have gone under witness protection themselves altogether?
That
makes
part
no
of it.
sense. How did Becky decide?
Makes no sense
Becky
to me
decided and made a choice to go on the run without her wife and kid. Okay, and because it is voluntary, if Coronation Street might decide that in the world of Weatherfield she got forced to. Okay, whatever. I don't. In real life, it's always voluntary. Her cover was blown, okay? So that means that Curtis, evil Curtis and his gang knew that Becky was an undercover police officer. Therefore, they know who her wife is and her kid is. And Becky went, bye then, see you later. Well, I don't understand why Curtis didn't come after Lisa and Betsy and try to put them in danger and say, you tell me where Becky is or I'll kill you.
Well, they didn't need to say, tell me where Becky is, because they thought that Becky was dead.
Well, go and confront her and do something to the family.
I don't know. That again doesn't particularly bother me.
Michael, if you were in a criminal gang, okay, and
you're right, I get myself in the zone. Yeah.
Just imagine you're grr, right, and then you find out
some drugs.
Yes, please. What do you have? Anyway, no, don't tell me. So she's undercover. You find out that there's been a cop undercover with you.
Yeah.
And then funnily enough she dies. Would you go, that's suspicious? I think she might have been put into witness protection. Because I would.
Well, maybe.
Wouldn't you turn up at her? Wouldn't you? Curtis knew that she was an undercover cop. Even if she is dead and he truly believes that Becky's dead, wouldn't you go and like menace and cut up the kids a bit and like just point your knife at her and stuff? I would. I'd get my revenge because she's made a mug out of Curtis. He's got to have his street cred for all his gang.
Yeah.
He looks like an absolute idiot because this woman came in and went, oh no, I am probably a proper crim, and he believed her and it turned out to be a cop. It doesn't make any sense.
Not yet.
And then Becky went, okay, yeah, I'd rather save myself and go and live in Spain than to have my kids. What does she think? Oh no, but what about her GCSEs? I can't possibly take her on the run. She wouldn't do her GCSEs. If you think you're in mortal danger, who gives a crap about any of that? They probably have something in Spain. They probably do have schools there.
I think they might do.
Do you know what I mean? There's no practical thing that you could ever say to me that would make me go, yeah, maybe I should leave Michael alone while I go on a run.
You can't spell O-levels without Olé. That's not as good as
You've been thinking about that the whole time I've been saying.
Only,
only for a few seconds.
There are some holes in the story, possibly.
But here's a question for you, right? Because you said you don't care about all of this.
I don't really care about it.
The more I'm saying stuff, is it kind of annoying you that I'm bringing it up? Or is it making you think, oh, maybe it isn't as good? Or are you just thinking, I don't care? It doesn't matter. There's no wrong answer.
No, maybe it's annoying me a little bit.
What, that I'm saying it? Or that it's...
Yeah, maybe.
That I'm ruining it for you.
No, you're just making me feel stupid for not noticing it myself.
There's no wrong answer.
No, that's what I'm telling you.
Okay.
I still know that there's more explanation to come. That's what I'm kind of banking on.
I think that this is all a big fib. I hope it's a big fib, because otherwise it's stupid.
It won't be a big fib. Right, so...
Well, then you're saying it's stupid.
I went into today's episode just ready to lap up any backstory about where she's been and why she didn't get in touch with Lisa and Betsy.
I was a bit annoyed coming into this because I'd read the interview with Amy Cudden and she explained some of what she knew about the story. I'm not annoyed at her. I'm annoyed about the story because going into this, we knew that she was in Spain and she wanted to come back because she wanted her family back.
By the way, the Amy Cudden interview that was published, there are a few very minor details in there that haven't come out from today's episode, aren't they? So we did say... I don't
remember what else.
We did say to people, I mean, even like where in Spain she stayed, but we did say don't listen to the second half of that episode if you don't want spoilers. I'd say it's probably pretty much safe now to listen to.
Yeah, I don't recall what is a spoiler, and I hope I'm not going to spoil anything, but... basically, I was in Spain and I've come back for my family. And that really annoyed me. That just really annoyed me. Because she's come back because she says, I've come back because it's Betsy's 18th. Actually, if you listen to what Amy said in her interview, she's come back because she heard that Lisa's getting engaged and she doesn't want her to get engaged. She wants her family back. Which I guess that is a spoiler.
I guess, well, maybe that is. Well, you said it now.
I said it now, I'm sorry. But this is why I don't believe a word she's saying.
Although there was that scene in today's episode where she sees the ring and Lisa says, oh yeah, I'm engaged. But she didn't particularly... I don't think she appeared particularly surprised.
No, because she's seen it on the internet.
Yeah.
I just don't buy it. And also, if I was back for my family, I'd do a lot more grovelling. Becky's she's like, what do you want me to do about it? You know what I mean? She's come back. That. She's come back like she thinks they've already broken up. If I had left you because I thought I was going to die, and then the guy who had put my life in danger got killed, and I came back because of that reason, I'd be like, hooray! Don't worry about it. I'm back. Let's get back together. I wouldn't be like, oh, I just want to see my kid. I don't mind you having a happy life without me. I think she's lying.
Well, she does say at one point, like, well, I can see the fact that you didn't fall instantly into my arms means that there's something that's gone on here and you've moved on.
But wouldn't you be mad about it?
Yeah.
She's not mad about it, which makes me think she's everything she's doing and saying is calculated. You're not seeing her real feelings about anything.
I've got some level of sympathy for her, for even though, yes, she probably should have got Lisa and Betsy to go with her, or at least asked whether they fancied a 4-year holiday. I feel bad for her that she has been so isolated from everyone. Although, what other family does she have? I don't know. Does she have a mum or a dad or a sister or anything anywhere? Do we have to break the news to other people that she's not really dead? Probably not.
What's wrong?
But I feel bad for her that she's been on her own and she's been longing for her family, as you probably would. And
I think that's rude to the people of Spain.
And it might even be that, it was I don't know why I'm fighting a corner here, but somebody's got to, I suppose. That it was a really kind of quick thing to get her away. She's like, oh my gosh, what do I do? You say that there's a body? Yeah, let's go for it. Let's say that I'm dead. And the minute that she got to Spain, she was like, oh my God, what have I done? I need to tell them I'm alive, but it's too late now.
Yeah.
And so I, in a way, feel bad for her that she's lost 4 years of her life, basically, and now she's come back and it's not quite the Weatherfield that she left. But I it's nice because I still think that she will take a villainous role, but I like it when I can have some kind of level of sympathy for a villain as well, because if they're there and there's no kind of depth to it, then it just feels very shallow and a bit moustache twirly.
I just think she hasn't given a good account of herself here. And that it feels like a deliberate choice on the part of Coronation Street, because everything you've just said about her position feels like it would be quite easy to be induced to sympathise with her. Even though there are loads of characters on Coronation Street who've done terrible things, and you can understand why. Even if you don't condone the actions they took, you can see how they got to them. But with Becky, I'm left on Friday after Friday's episode going, I still don't get you. I think you're very callous.
You're hiding something,
and I don't believe a word you're saying. So I think we're supposed to think there's more to this than she's letting on.
I think there is. As I say, it's early days. We can only react to what we've seen so far. And so Friday's episode basically starts off with a whole explanation. And I want to say again, Vicky Myers, that this so far for me has been her performance of her time on Coronation Street. From the gasp when she sees Becky dropping the wine glass to how on earth
breathing and
the panic
attack
and
just
how would you react if somebody who you thought was dead for 4 years was standing there in front of you? I don't really know, but I totally bought that Lisa was feeling whatever it is you would feel.
I thought she did a fantastic job. This is such a hard task. Like, imagine if you were an actress and you got given the script and it's like, Lisa reacts to her dead wife reappearing.
Yeah.
Like, how on earth would you... It's such an outlandish and weird scenario. It's not like you can go, I'm just going to look at some research material and see if anyone's videoed themselves reacting to
that. And
their...
I'll tell you what also, Gemma.
Yeah?
What was the incidental music in that scene to help us understand? Nothing.
Can you imagine if it
What was the special effects that they used to show Lisa's inner turmoil? Oh, there were none.
Yeah, you're
Look,
right.
That is raw drama, and it was fantastic.
Yeah.
We don't need all that rubbish with wibbly wobblies.
Right.
And I don't mind a wibbly wobbly sometimes, but it's clearly been overused at this point. And this scene showed that Coronation Street doesn't need it if the script's good enough, if the performance is good enough, if the situation's good enough.
Right there in the room with her, weren't you? When she was reacting like you didn't need anything to break you out of that immersion.
I love the bit where she says, "Oh, I dreamed about this day." Because you probably, and she talks about, and then I wake up and then I lose you all over again. And I think lots of people who've experienced loss in real life have had something similar, haven't they? I mean, I went, after my mum died, for like a year or so afterwards, I was having semi-regular dreams about mum again. And then you wake and you think, oh, this is
horrible.
brilliant. And you don't kind of realise in your dream that she's been dead. You're just like, oh, there's mum. And then you wake up and it is a little bit like a bit of grief again. So that was a really, really well observed line, I think. And
that's horrible.
Yeah. I think maybe it was Becky who says, I've dreamed about this day, but Lisa agrees and says, so have I, but so it's much of a muchness there, really. But I loved how it suddenly started to dawn on her, and she's like, well, hang on a minute, we scattered some ashes here. What's going on? I'm having a breakdown, and Becky's there going, I'm real. She's what she say? You're not tripping. So I don't know what those two used to get up to when they've been confiscating from the naughty men. Like, I'll just take possession of these drugs. Thank you very much. I'll have those for later. Anyway, Lisa says, look, I don't understand what's happened. It's been nearly 4 years. Where have you been? I need answers. And
I would have been furious.
Well, she was, wasn't she?
I would have been a lot angrier than this.
Would you? I don't know how I would react. I really, really don't. Because nobody can really picture how they would react in this situation. But
I think I'd be sick and faint.
I think knowing you, I mean, you're very jumpy, aren't you?
I would be excited for a minute because I'd be like,
It's a Michael
like,
ghost.
I'd be like, are you a ghost? And you'd be like, no, I faked my death. And I'd be like, you
That's what
bastard!
would make you mad, wouldn't it? That I'm not a ghost.
Oh my god.
Yeah, Gemma would probably get very mad at me for a while. But what?
A while.
Yeah.
This is.
But I think I'd like to
unforgivable.
think that I'd be like, oh, Gemma, I love you. But then in this fictitious. Yeah, that's what I'd say. But then in this fictitious alternate universe, I found myself a new hot fiance, so I might be.
Who's a man?
Yeah, apparently so.
Well, this is the kind of intriguing point about this. If it is true that Lisa and Becky, like Becky was undercover and Lisa knew, or Becky had ever been undercover or talked about being undercover, then you might be able to spin a little bit of a scenario to kind of like make this a bit more believable that they had ever talked about the possibility of her faking her death, or this might have, like, if you knew that your wife had been undercover and you knew that the world you live in, the police will fake somebody's death to hide them.
Yeah.
It's not like with you and me where I'd be like, Michael, you're a teacher. This makes no sense. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, what crime did you see at school that you had to live in Spain? I don't want to know, probably.
Anyway.
But you know what I'm saying? Like, this is like slightly within the world of possibility for Lisa and Becky in a way that it's not for other people.
Yeah, I suppose so. We find out over the next scene that she's been in Spain. She's been living under another name, not Tia Wardley.
No, we both went,
somebody else later said she said another name, but yeah, that they were the two prevalent theories, weren't they? That Tia Wardley was either her witness protection name, or that she was
the real victim.
Who was in the coffin, which turned out to be true. So anyway, Lisa gets madder and madder when she realises that her beloved wasn't in fact kidnapped, because that would have been okay apparently, but she was in on it, as Lisa put it, and didn't contact her whatsoever when she possibly could have done in the intervening 4 years.
Well, she want a postcard.
Yeah, wish you were here.
Hola.
And you get, I did also love the moment, and again, very believable performance when Becky gives that big, long, deep sniff of Betsy's cardigan. Was it a cardigan or a jumper or something like that? I don't know how necessarily she knew it was hers, unless she recognised it, from 4 years ago.
I mean, it's 4 years.
Kids grow.
4 years is not so long that you wouldn't have the same item of clothing.
It's not for us, because we've stopped growing, but I imagine that Betsy's
She said, has she grown?
Did she?
Yes.
Oh, well, I
mentioned this to you.
I don't know. I think that she's got the secret power that lots of children at school have, where they can identify whose jumper is whose by sniffing it. That's what happens. You go, there's got a jumper here.
Are you kidding me?
No, really. They don't identify other people's, but they identify their own. If there's a jumper with no name and it gets brought around the classroom, it's like, somebody lost their jumper. It's not unusual for a kid to come over and have a big long sniff of it, just like Becky did.
That's
that's mine.
Funny.
I know.
Wow.
Aren't
children miraculous?
I haven't seen them do it for a while, actually, but that is 100% a thing that kids do. Yeah.
Can I say, if I'm Becky, okay, and I've come back, and my wife is with this new woman, I know she's in the doghouse, so she's on her back foot here, but I would be like, nice house you've got here. Yeah. I thought when I said I wanted Marble Island, you said you didn't like it, and you thought it looked tacky. Does this new woman know you think it looks tacky?
And she's like, oh, I see you've got plastic grass outside.
Oh, yeah, you know what I think about that.
Oh, and an orangery.
How ostentatious.
It must have been so... Can you imagine being a parent who hasn't been able to see their child for 4 years and getting that scent? That's the kind of thing that would... It'd just be like heavenly, wouldn't it? Even if it's a skanky jumper. Again, I think that was partly done to make us sympathise with Becky a little bit more.
But I wouldn't have heard anything from Lisa telling me I couldn't see my kid.
No, well, she wasn't, was she?
No, but she did.
What?
At the end of it, she still hasn't seen her.
No, she still hasn't seen her, but she's gonna kind of flipping well see her. Come hell or high water.
They're just making conflict, aren't they?
Yeah.
I really want to see Becky sniping with Carla. What are they going to do? Because the thing is about...
Becky with Carla?
Becky versus Carla.
Oh, I thought you meant they're going to snipe together.
No. It's interesting because they're both... I know that they both seem like scrappy, like maybe I'm not super educated, but I'm streetwise and I know I'm cunning and I know people and I know how to get what I want out of them. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, she doesn't strike me as a super intellectual kind of a...
No.
Like, she's not going to look down on Carla like, oh, I'm smarter than you or anything. I think they've got that social, like, intelligence, haven't they? The pair of them. Not necessarily emotional, I don't think, but there's social, like, cunning that they both need to be in charge and tell people what to do. Because I can imagine Becky being in charge of people if they're both detectives.
It is funny.
I assume that she is.
In many ways, in many ways, Carla and Becky are quite different with each other, aren't they?
Yeah, like physically
Carla is
different.
all very well put together, always
glam.
made up, glam, black. Whereas, Lisa's obviously type has changed over the year.
It is really funny. If I was Becky, I'd be a bit offended actually. I'd be like, oh, sorry.
Sorry, didn't put enough makeup on for
kimonos.
you.
Like, because you also...
Sorry, did I cook too many meals for you?
Yeah, sorry, not eating enough sushi. Like, Becky, like, she mentions one of the things that she missed was the hockey girls, which is funny because we know that Vicky Myers plays... Is it hockey?
Does she?
Isn't she in a team?
Maybe.
There's a team that everyone went to go see, do you remember?
I thought that was netball, wasn't it?
Was it netball?
Yeah, people want to go and see her doing some netball.
She's sporty.
It's a girl's sport. It's one of those girly sports. Netball, hockey, synchronised swimming.
Dressage. It's one of them sports. But you know what I mean? Like, can you ever see Carla being on a team of anyone?
No.
She would only play darts, probably, because it's a single thing. But, like, Becky's I have short hair because I don't want to spend too long in the shower because I'm always on the run or doing exercise or sporting. And Carla's like, I literally would rather kill myself than run anywhere or do anything. Although she did go running with Lisa the other day.
She did. I really like the look they've created for Becky. She's just got an interesting... There's something about her that makes me want to find out more. She stands out as being just, a little bit different and not fitting in with the rest. It's
a very deliberate choice they've made with how she appears in the show, because it would have been super tempting, and I don't know whether it was based on the actress herself, like the vibe that she gives off, but it would have been so super tempting to have cast somebody who's just a bit like very Carla-ish. Do you know, the glam, and they could have made glam, but they didn't, because although we don't know what Becky's going to look like when she's not on the run.
Well, yeah, exactly. Maybe she scrubs up nicely.
Maybe she's just wearing a wig.
What's she going to take it off and these beautiful blonde tresses fall down?
Kind of like when Lisa took her hair down
for the proposal.
Yeah.
Anyway, next thing comes along and we hear a little bit about where she's been up to. So she was undercover with Dangerous Curtis. Curtis doesn't sound like
Curtis. It's like what was the other one they had?
Who?
Well, they had another name that was like completely...
Oh, they did, didn't they?
It was like at Guardians of the Galaxy, and it was like Josh or something. It's like, what do you mean?
Yeah.
The evil Curtis.
Well, even like, does Harvey sound like much of a name?
No, they're all their villain names are like hilariously like soft sounding.
Curtis. I mean, Emma's fella was Curtis, wasn't it? The factitious disorder bloke, and that's all I can think of when I think of Curtis.
Ronan.
Oh yeah, Ronan Truman.
Ronan is a boy band's name.
Yes, you're right. Anyway, so she was
Ronan
there,
and Curtis,
undercover with Big Boy Curtis, and then she got found out, and then they had to whisk her off to Spain before she got in a lot of serious trouble indeed.
And they also mentioned that Curtis was shot a few weeks ago, like I said, but it's a contract killing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That could be something that we find out is part of the corrupt...
Oh, did Costello put a hit out on Curtis?
Yeah.
Maybe he did.
Yeah.
So exciting. Anyway, this is when the ring comes up and Lisa says, I was engaged last week. What of it? And then Carla arrives and I think if I'm remembering rightly, Becky
tries to pretend it's not. She's not her.
Yeah, and Lisa's like, this is Becky, dead Becky, my wife. And Carla doesn't you know, we'd already seen the mega uber reaction of shock from Lisa, hadn't we, earlier? And Carla didn't give quite so much.
Well, she's like, I'm a soap character. I've been a soap character longer than Lisa has.
Yeah, I've been around this block a few times before, actually. And anyway, Lisa...
Well, I mean, Carla never saw her die. She wasn't there. She just got told she was dead. And so to her, it's like, well, you tell me she's alive now.
But imagine Carla's feelings to hear, this is my wife, when I've just got engaged to this person. And it like has this whole future that I thought I had planned. And she was, you know, she was hesitant about getting together with Lisa in the beginning, wasn't she? She didn't let herself go full on, yes, I'm in love with you for quite a while. And it's like, was all this for nothing? Is this a lie? Has she come back? Are they going to get back together?
Well, I mean, one of the things that Carla was hesitant about was the tongue wagging. And imagine now...
Oh, what's Sally going to say when she finds this out?
Everyone's going to be... This is like the best gossip you would have ever heard in your life.
Maybe they're saving the Sally dinner party for this revelation. Just imagine.
Can you imagine if she invited Becky as well, and it's like a three... It's like a dinner party with a dead wife, the soon-to-be wife, Sally, Tim, and Lisa. There you go.
That'd be brilliant.
That would be too weird.
Anyway, Carla says... Lisa confirms to Carla that she didn't know anything about this, which is good. And then she also, Lisa puts two and two together about the funeral being low key because it wasn't a real funeral.
But this doesn't make any sense.
Oh, okay. Why not this time?
Because why would you throw it into jeopardy that this funeral was not real? Why would you ever go?
No, it wasn't in jeopardy because it was a COVID funeral. I think they had enough plausible deniability here.
No, because that Lisa literally says the funeral was so low key because you weren't really dead.
Yeah, but I think...
That was the reason. That was the true reason.
Of course that was the reason.
But why would you ever jeopardise somebody being undercover by being just don't do a real funeral?
No, I think that they probably weighed up the options and thought, I don't think people are going to suspect a low-key funeral of
Why would you risk it? It makes no sense. The whole thing hinges on you making out that it's a real funeral and you're like, don't bother getting sausage rolls.
Let's have a procession through the street. Let's have people throwing flowers onto the hearse. Let's have Elton John coming into the cathedral.
Release a single about it, yeah. You want people to believe this is real. You don't half-arse it.
Goodbye, Becky Swain. Okay, so Lisa strides off at the end of this sentence. She needs some air. It's all come out about Betsy's near miss as well.
Do you not think it's kind of dumb to imagine that all the top brass of Weatherfield police were so bad at poker faces that they made a funeral look fake because they knew that she wasn't dead? It's so stupid to imagine them going, I'm not going to cry. She's not really dead. This is stupid.
Maybe the boat tickets to Spain were quite expensive and they got a budget.
They could pretend to be sad. I'm sorry, but the idea that they were like, look, it doesn't have to be.
I can't imagine that Costello cries. He's those eyes have remained bone dry. He's too hard for that.
The only time his eyes water is because he hasn't blinked for 5 minutes.
Yeah, I'm going to learn and I'm going to stare at what you're doing. Okay, so Carla gets left alone in the room with Becky, who says to Carla, we need to go after her. But unfortunately, there's a rattling at the door. Oh, look, it's Roy come round to do his whole confessional of, he comes and says, I saw Becky, I saw Lisa's wife, doesn't he? To Carla, and Carla has to try and kind of get rid of him. Roy gets quite for Roy. Insistent. He gets quite irate. He's like, "Oh, fine then." Before he goes off, doesn't he? I would kind of. I don't think it was badly written or anything, but I would have expected Roy to have just been left a bit more kind of confused and bewildered and bumbling off in this situation. But he seemed pretty narked off that Carla didn't want to give him the time of day.
Lisa's gone on a walk. Becky's in the kitchen listening as Carla goes, "No, Roy, it can't be Becky, the dead wife, because that makes no sense. This storyline wouldn't be logical. Also, what kind of horrible woman would do that to her wife and child?"
Yeah, Becky's listening in on this, isn't she? Feeling guilty.
But another thing that kind of fell down a little bit for me here is that if you're Roy and you're absolutely 100% sure you saw a dead woman, you'd be like, no, Carla, I need to talk to you about this. This doesn't make any sense. How could this have happened?
He was trying to get in. He says, I need to go and see that photo.
Has she got a twin sister?
She pretty much slammed the door in his face.
But wouldn't you try to, if you thought you saw somebody who was supposed to be dead, wouldn't you try to think of reasons why you could have seen them?
Well, yeah, maybe. Maybe that's what he's doing this evening.
He didn't bring
get to
up
see him
any.
the rest of the
I'm just
episode.
saying, I wouldn't have been placated so quickly.
He wasn't placated. He
was.
Off. He wasn't. He was shown the door.
He was.
He didn't go away and said, "Oh, okay, that's fine then."
He was.
I don't think
I wouldn't have let somebody. If I saw a ghost, I'd want to tell everybody. I'll be on the news.
He might have just. Carla was saying, "You must have misseen her. You must be imagining things," or no, it must have just been somebody who looked like.
Okay,
her.
I'm not going to argue with you about it anymore because
you got a very different read
I
of
think
Roy
it's.
from that.
What do you mean?
No, yes, I say you're saying that he ended up placated, and I say no, he definitely wasn't. And Carla goes back to Becky and says, "Look, you don't know Roy. He's like a dog with a bone. This isn't the last we're going to hear of this. Look what mess you've caused."
My point is that the scenario is poorly portrayed here because nobody would have gone, no, I okay then, fine.
He didn't say that. Let's move on from this. We would agree to disagree.
That's
on
what
this
I said.
Roy moment. This is when we get the Lisa tracking, don't we? Carla's finds her location on the phone. I don't know what was going on there, but that wasn't a map of Weatherfield, was it? I'm super confused because there was a giant park called Green Glade Park.
No, I mean behind them is like a very long, park behind.
Yeah.
And then the canal.
But Carla's location is given as being just around the corner from Lisa, but she's not because we're just being nitpicky
Technically
here.
speaking, she was closer to the park than Lisa was on the map.
Yeah, on the map, Carla is not on Coronation Street, so
explain that.
I don't really get what's going on there. I don't know why they didn't have to show
a map.
Carla's picture on there.
She could have just gone, I'm checking.
It's really peculiar. Really weird.
I'm just checking on my phone. Oh, there she is. Let's go.
Anyway, never mind about that. You can't get it right every single time. So they decide to go off and see her, basically. Becky takes Carla's keys and says, "You drive me there." So they arrive at the park, and I didn't realise that these scenes were going to be in it today because these were filmed back in June, I'm going to say, was it?
Yes.
And this was very interesting because these pictures of Lisa and Carla appeared on the internet back then. And I think I even remember seeing at the time people saying, "Oh my gosh, it looks like Lisa's got an engagement ring on." So maybe there was a little bit of a spoiler there. But all we saw in those PAP pictures was Vicky Myers and Ali King getting up to a bit of dramatic acting and emoting. But then there was also one which had like a little snippet of of the green coat with that belonged to Becky. So
you should burn that. It's horrible.
Yeah. So I didn't know when these would appear, but I'm glad they came now. But obviously the paparazzi who took the pictures at the time must have been told, you can't take a picture of this person. It felt very much like okay, we'll let you take pictures of Ali and Vicky and as much as you like, but don't take a picture of this. This is going to spoil it. And I'm
not saying anything about
fair
this.
Fair play to them, they didn't.
If you ever meet me in person, you can ask me.
Yeah, well, no, that's clearly they could have taken photos of Amy Cudden, but they didn't. The only reason why they wouldn't would have been if they'd been asked not to. But anyway, hey, it was nice that it was kept as a bit of a surprise. So this is a lovely little location. I think it's down toward the south of Manchester somewhere.
Well, it's near us.
Yeah, we're
to south of Manchester.
When? Oh,
No.
not that far
No.
south of Manchester, just a little bit. And they find Lisa on the bench, and I loved the reveal that there's a plaque on there. Although, definitely that bench looks incredibly new, like it was possibly just put there by the ITV production team for this scene, because I don't think they found an existing bench and put a Becky plaque on there.
Didn't they do that with Eileen and Julie? Did they not put a bench somewhere? I think they've got a roving bench that they use to place.
Well, they got roving daffodils for them, haven't they? It was a bit like, it reminded me of the scene. Was it when Phelan and Nicola are in Liverpool and there's a memorial plaque to someone or other there. I can't remember who it was that they must have just put on for the filming. But I don't know, maybe I'm wrong. But it says that Becky was born in 1980 and died in 2021. And Lisa says, I used to cry here quite a lot at the funeral. You can tell that Becky's not giving up on Betsy here, can't you? Because she's saying like, oh yeah, we used to come here all the time. She used to call it, what was it, Teddy Bear Park or something. Yeah. Oh, I know all about my daughter Carla. So Carla's probably feeling pretty edged out already during this. Definitely quite with a precarious grip on Lisa, I imagine. But
they've got this bench that they put outside of the hospital for people to sit on. There was Kevin and Julie were sitting on it. I think that's the same bench.
Do you?
Yeah, do you not think that's the same bench?
I can't remember what the bench looked like, to be honest. You can find the pictures of it if you want. But anyway, Lisa's asking, because what was it, Becky and Carla turn up, and Lisa's like, yeah, I come here quite a lot actually to sit and think and cry. She still wants to know about this, who they cremated was, and Becky says at first she doesn't know. And Lisa's like, look, have you ever even thought of Betsy? Becky's like, well, I've had a lot of time to think about Betsy, actually. And everyone back here in Weatherfield and like the team, this is what you mentioned earlier. Lisa says, yeah, everyone you conned. It's a long list. I hope that there are more people who we get to see react to Becky being alive, but I don't think we will.
The question is, how long is she going to be in the show? And will she die or will she leave?
Will she give up on Lisa?
Yeah, and
there's still the lingering possibility of the throuple, which people have been, I don't know whether in jest or seriously been proposing. I don't want to see that.
Is she still going to remain undercover, and do people have to keep her secret that she's still dead? That's what I'm saying.
How does that work?
That's what I'm saying.
Have you looked at... I saw you had it on your phone earlier. Were you looking into whether or not Carla and Lisa can actually get married?
There's no world in which anyone's made a law about this.
Well, bet they're kicking themselves now, aren't they?
I feel like right idiots. And also, I'm just going to say, it doesn't matter what the law is, and I said this in the bonus podcast, it literally makes no difference because Coronation Street will make it up, and it won't bear any resemblance to real life.
Becky's still wanting to see Betsy, and Lisa's like, no chance. I loved how hard she got at this point when she's like, I'm going to bloody kill you if you go anywhere near Betsy. I know, she did. And no one's going to know because they think you're dead already. That was really that was really a proper funny. Hardcore moment. How would she do it?
No, of course she wouldn't.
Do you think?
I think Becky would though.
What?
Becky seems like a psycho.
Do you think?
Yeah.
No,
why do you like her so much?
I don't know. Just
being contrarian.
Maybe I'm just supporting the underdog because I know that she's had a lot of flack delivered to her before she said like her third word on screen. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to be missing for 4 years. Anyways, I think it's. Do you think it's fair that Lisa is denying her access and saying there was no way that our daughter is going to find out that you're alive? And can you imagine what Betsy would say if she found out
she's been kept from
which
her
obviously she will. So
she's going to find out before Lisa's ready to let her know, and then she'll find out that Lisa knew that her mum was alive and didn't tell her.
Yeah, I think that there is definitely going to be some conflict on the horizon between Betsy and Lisa, and Betsy is good. I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if Betsy moves out to go and live with Becky for a little bit
in a hotel. Yeah,
because she's not a grown up, and Lisa feels wrong. She is now. Lisa feels so wronged and hard done by and lied to, but I think as a more innocent child, recently child. Betsy's reaction would be more, oh, Mum, it's you, I've missed you. And
you would never do anything to hurt me. I believe everything you...
Yeah, I think that she would be just more happy to have her mum back because she doesn't have the Carla equivalent that Lisa has, which is complicating things.
This is really funny because there is a documentary on Netflix, and if you've watched it, you know which one I'm talking about, which has got... I don't want to spoil anything. I'm not going to say what the documentary is, but there is a documentary about a mum who betrays her daughter in the most ridiculously vile and ludicrously soap villain way. and the daughter does not find it weird and still loves her and insists that she wants a relationship with her and wants to carry on being.
I mean, I think it would be more interesting if Lisa's reaction to it is
Different
completely opposite than Betsy. If we see exactly the same reaction from Betsy, it's like, we've seen this before. I prefer the idea of the conflict of these two, of Betsy taking a mum's side, the cool one, the one that she's also been dreaming about.
You're always saying I couldn't do this and couldn't do that, and now you told me I can't see my mum.
But Lisa's not going to be swayed.
To be super boring, if this was real life and I was Lisa, I'd immediately contact the whatever liaison. There must be some kind of psychological like thing for police officers, and I'd get them to help me to tell Betsy. Like, I would have supervision and I'd have a psychologist or something or a therapist there.
I haven't looked.
How would you do it? Like, what would you like? Would you like drop a few hints every now and then? Like, imagine if your mum was. How would you do it? What would you think if your mum walked through that door right now? How would you do it?
I've not looked on itv.com/advice recently, but I don't know if there's any
what to do if
service
back
here
from the dead
for anyone who has been in a similar situation to Lisa. I mean, they're just not doing their duty if they haven't put something up there to reassure us if we find ourselves in the same position.
It is really fascinating because somebody somewhere knows the right way of doing this. It must have happened once.
Yeah. People show up who have been believed dead. It's not a completely outlandish thing to do. Yes, obviously it screams soap opera or high drama or melodrama, but people come back who have been thought to have been dead.
I know, but normally it's like, oh, they were down a hole. It wasn't like they were literally hiding from you this whole time. That's a completely different scenario. But I wonder also if Becky's going to try to make Lisa lie to her about the circumstances of what actually happened.
Maybe.
Just like, don't tell her that I was undercover. Tell her that I had amnesia. Like, honestly, why is Becky not lying about this? I'd be like, I thought my name was Consuela Banana, and I was living in Spain, and I didn't know. I must have accidentally got a plane.
No. Anyway, look, this is going on far too long. I thought it's going to be a short street talk this week. There's only 2 episodes, but we're going to be going over our usual runtime despite all this. Anyway, we learn here that the body belonged to Tia Wardley, a hit and run victim, and Carla's immediately like, hang on a minute, that's not right. We met Tia, and Becky gives away that she knows something here, doesn't she? She says, no, that wasn't her. And then I think she does say later on that Costello paid somebody to pretend to be her. So she's still working with Costello to try and.
Why is Costello hiding the fact that Becky's alive if Curtis is dead?
I don't know, because there's something dodgy about.
Bollocks.
No, don't say that. They're definitely going to explain it. For sure.
No, I mean, it's what Becky's saying is a load of crap.
But Becky still is clearly working alongside Costello at the moment in some way. So I guess that has she been the person that he's been having the secret phone calls with?
Well, she was calling him earlier, I assume.
Yeah, I guess so. Anyway,
this is just ridiculous. We haven't even got to the bit where Tyrone got run over.
Lisa's absolutely fuming that Costello's been laughing at her as she thinks all this time and has seen her grieving and not said anything about it. And Becky's like, no, he just wanted to protect you. He feels dead guilty about it and everything. He had to do it. It was a choice between this stranger and her family, and I picked looking after my family over, a respectful death for this, a respectful burial for this.
Lisa's right here because she says you didn't have to die, and that is completely true. What? She could have. Why did she have to tell Lisa and Betsy that she was dead? Why couldn't she have told them she was alive and living in Spain?
What, with that? Yeah, with them joining her.
No, just I'll see you later. I'm going to Spain. It's too hot for me here.
I don't think that they would have bought that. I don't think they would have.
What do you mean?
No, I didn't mean that. I mean, I don't think they would have been happy with that. Saying, okay, that's fine. You go and live there, and we'll stay here.
But what? Okay, she's right. You didn't have to. It just seems like literal overkill, isn't it?
Yeah.
You could have come up with so many other things to cover your tracks than pretending you were dead. You dumb idiot.
Anyway, Lisa also doesn't buy this story, does she? And Becky's like, yeah, you know what? I was cocky. I thought I was smashing it, doing my undercover copping, but I wasn't. I wanted to be the hero. I wanted the cat's pats on the back when Curtis was caught, but he found me out. If I'd been less full of myself, maybe I'd still have a family. And she said, I hate myself, Lisa. And Lisa replies, that makes two of us.
Yeah.
Ah,
who do you think you are?
Poor Becky.
What is wrong with you?
I don't know. I'm just being contrary. So the next time we see them, they've changed scene, haven't they? They're
moving about.
Yeah, they're by a path. They're on a little mini fence or something, a border fence, and Carla's trying to calm Lisa down. Becky is not losing it hot on their heels and says, "Oh look, I just want to talk to you, Lisa."
What the hell is going on?
I'm looking forward to seeing.
I thought we were going to have cake.
I want. Do you think there's going to be a scene coming up with Carla going to Roy and saying, "You know what, you were right. I'm really sorry," and having a lovely little Carla and Roy heart to heart, which we all love.
Hopefully, but I want to see Becky. I want to see Carla gather herself and then have a proper go at Becky.
Yeah, she's just still...
You're like, you destroyed this woman's life.
She doesn't know what's going on at the moment.
She was broken when I met her. It's taken her a year to learn to love again, and now you turn up to ruin her life.
Yeah. Anyway, the scene basically ends with Lisa stropping off and saying you were dead and you can stay dead, but Carla tries to get them to talk a little bit more, don't they? They go back to the factory. There is an intervening scene which is Ryan and Betsy, sorry. So I've written Becky here in the notes, but it's Betsy, and they talk about the necklace, but there wasn't a whole lot there. It was a very nice little scene, but
he tells her wherever Becky is now, she's watching over you, which is obviously hilarious for us.
Yes.
And also it's fun because Ryan's also got two mums, but in a completely different way.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Wendy and Michelle.
Yeah,
you're right. They go to the factory, the ladies, and Becky still is going on about seeing Betsy, but Lisa is not having any of it. Betsy lost her mum, and I lost the love of my life. Says... Oh, sorry, I thought you were going to say something, but it was no, says Lisa, and Carla kind of remarks at this, doesn't she?
She doesn't remark.
No, she doesn't say anything. She reacts, to this.
And this is like the Swarla bait here, because... Yeah. This has broken Carla's heart.
It's official. It's in the script. Lisa's love of her life is Becky.
You're going to say Bethany then?
I don't say Bethany, Betsy.
Is going on?
Broccoli.
I love broccoli.
Carla says, look, we need to get back home at this point, and Lisa just wants to be left alone with Becky for a little while longer.
Oh man, imagine
this was a great
that
scene.
bit where Carla has to leave them.
Yeah,
and she no idea what they're going to talk about. How much would you die to hear that conversation?
We've seen Lisa being pretty sure that she is not going to be leaving Carla for Becky at this point, but yeah, Carla leaving would still be definitely quite concerned that could be on the table.
Yeah.
And it was a really quite intimate scene, wasn't it? It was, again, very well performed by Vicky and Amy. And Lisa's nearly on the verge of tears. She's been crying all episode. I'm surprised she's got anything left. Costello doesn't need to shed any tears. Lisa's got enough.
She getting the Weatherfield Waterworks Award for the year?
Yeah, she might be.
Somebody's going to get it. It's going to be one of these three women.
Lisa, again, is... She goes from anger to... we used to be soulmates, and she's like, I just wanted one more minute with you, and it's clear that she's still got some kind of affection. She's still, in a weird way, still in love with her. Weird. I just wanted to kiss you one more time. And Becky's like, well, you got me now, and they're holding hands, and they're kind of cupping each other's faces, and it's all, as I say, very intimate.
And Lisa's like, it's really you.
Yeah, and...
oh my God.
and...
But
then Becky says, look, I just needed to keep my family safe. I've never known any pain like it. And Lisa's reply is, I think Betsy, would say the same. Why have you done this to me, Coronation Stew? Why are these characters got very similar names? I can't cope with that. I get names wrong at the best of times.
It should be Alina and Zara.
Exactly. Don't call her Alina, otherwise you
get the other just get it right. Aaron.
Anyway.
My girlfriend Aaron.
Ryan finds Carla back at the house later. I think he comes downstairs and Carla's there stroking Betsy's head on the sofa. She's asleep, isn't she, Betsy? And
she's drunk.
Yeah.
She's sleeping it off.
Yeah, exactly. And Carla's just like, some birthday, kidder. which is a very, very nice mother-daughter bonding moment. Again, especially with Carla thinking, how long could this last for if Becky's plan goes to plan? Yeah.
Well, Becky's still maintaining that she's not. She just wants to see Betsy, and she doesn't imagine a future for her and Lisa.
Yeah, she's saying that she understands that Carla is the love of Lisa's life now, but it wouldn't surprise me at all if she's got designs on getting back in that bed again. First, Betsy, but I think that she has the right. I truly believe that she has the right to see Betsy.
Yeah.
Sorry, she does.
Of course she does. You'd have to be weird to say that she shouldn't ever see her daughter again.
But do you think Lisa knows that? Is she just?
She's just being protective because I think she will realise in time that she can't keep them apart, but she needs to think about how this is gonna work and how to sort of break it to Betsy. This has happened. There's no way she would. Well, it would be. Yeah,
but like we ridiculous. Said earlier, it seems quite likely that Betsy's going to find out before Lisa gets the chance to. Anyway, the conversation ends and Becky goes off to some hotel. I wonder which hotel that is that she's staying in. Go on, surprise me. Although to be fair, there are two hotels, aren't there? Because there was that one that they used.
Alina was in.
Yeah, exactly. Lisa gets home and has a hug with Carla, and it's just a very kind of. Whoa.
Well, no, Carla says, "What can I do to make things easier for you?" And Lisa just wants a hug. And as she's hugging Carla, she's looking at the prone form of her daughter, blissfully sleeping, unaware of the fact that her life is about to change again.
Yes. What a story this week.
And I have noticed people saying that Carla wasn't wearing her engagement ring in that scene. As though she was saying, "Do you want to break up?"
I've not seen any other reactions.
I think that was just a mistake.
Yeah, continuity error. Yeah, I've always kind of enjoyed the Swarla dynamic, but there've been bits to the story that I've been cooler on than others, like the Rob prison escape stuff and.
How long?
Some things that they put in which are clearly very, very baity, I do kind of roll my eyes at a bit and go, oh, honestly, like the music last week for the proposal, and that kind of makes me in some way like the characters less, because it feels like I'm trying to be forced to make it, or I don't like really, really obvious baity stuff for certain
being
fans.
Manipulated.
Yeah, but this, genuinely, I have never been more invested in the Carla Elisa storyline as I was this week. I was proper on the edge of my seat. I loved it. What were you going to say?
I'm just going to say, the characters will not, like, Carla and Lisa wouldn't be in the show unless something was happening to them. Mm. There's only so many kind of like middling, like B and C stories that they can really get into to justify how much time they're spending. So if any Swarla fans just want to watch domestic bliss scenes, you're watching the wrong show, because that's not what is going to happen. Mm. They're only going to be in it with big stories like this. They could have just had a wedding, and then I think I would have preferred it if they just had a really nice run of planning the wedding and all that kind of stuff. Then they could have had all those cozy scenes, and then maybe Becky coming after that. I would rather.
One of the prevailing theories was that Becky was going to show up at the wedding.
That would have been hilarious, but they couldn't have ruined another lesbian wedding.
I think that was another reason why it came as such a shock when she appeared on Monday, because a lot of people had it in the back of their heads that would have been maybe a good time for Becky to have turned up. But considering all the lurking there was last Friday, maybe that would have been a bit. Yeah, unlikely.
But I'm also going to say that these two women have been working their asses off. I think there's more to come, a lot more to come, and I think it's going to run into next year. Mm. I'm not saying any more, but I'm going to also say that there will be a point where they fall off the edge of a cliff as far as appearances go, because Ali King and Vicky Myers they're going to need time off, because I don't think anyone really understands how much work this is to be in the show. So much as they have been for like consistently for like a year.
Yeah, I mean, it's been long. Like Lisa, especially,
Yeah.
she
She
was
can't-
right up there in the episode counts last year, and she's still.
It's not sustainable
No.
as a workload. Like, you will go mad.
It was a
That
bit
you're gonna
like
have
how
to give her a
Dee
break.
Dee was missing in action
Yeah.
for a long time, and she's still been relatively low key, hasn't she? Because of how much they made Shanique work last year. So yeah,
It's just an unfortunate byproduct of the fact there are 6 episodes, and the way that they film it is that if you're a main character in a year now, it's just a grind.
it doesn't feel like we're anywhere close yet to the
Conclusion
pause.
or no.
No, this is a new beginning and a new
Yeah,
chapter.
it is.
I'm really so looking forward to it. I hope they don't disappoint with where they go from this.
Do you care about any of the other stories?
I do, but should we rush? I don't want to rush through them because there was another surprise in the Tyrone story. I'll let you take the Tyrone storyline. There's more to say about Swarla, but we'll have to save it for another episode. Let's talk about Tyrone.
Do we have to? We don't have time.
Yes, we do.
This is so funny, right? Because this character, Tyrone, has been in the show for what, 30 years or something?
Yeah, exactly.
And he's been run over and left for dead. And I think we're all assuming he's going to be fine, but I don't think he's going to be as easy as all that. And no one's talking about it.
No, the thing is,
Yes.
I think that even if there hadn't been the whole Becky Swain back from the dead thing this week, I still don't think anyone would have been talking about Tyrone being hit by a car, because these days a character being hit by a car, 10 a penny, so what? Is anyone worried that Tyrone's not going to be skipping down the cobbles? Of course he will be. He'll be fine. Any sense?
Oh, I don't know.
Don't you?
I don't. I think. Mate,
I'm not.
I think challenges are afoot.
Do you know something about this?
No, I just think I think it's going to be a story.
I'm glad that it's a story. I'm super happy that the Dobbs have got a story. Evelyn's seemingly back at the moment. Touch wood, touch wood.
Is that coincidence?
And they've been severely underused, because I love the Dobbs State family. But yes, of course there'll be some sort of challenges, whatever. But I don't ever get any sense of oh no from a character being hit if they're not killed instantly or within the next episode or so. And I don't know anything about, I've not heard anything about Alan Halsall leaving the show, so yeah, I'm not, it's kind of left me a little bit cold. And I love this family, but I'll happily talk about it. I'll talk about it now. I mean, it's not even the Tyrone stuff at the beginning, it's also everything that's going on with Carl, isn't it, and Brody and Dylan.
On Monday, the Websters are back from their holiday, and Kevin's not impressed to see that Carl is hanging around and
working at the garage
to get lost. And Abby finds him later in the pub and's like, you need to help us move the car because me and Kevin are really tired. And he looks down about something, and he's like, "Oh, don't." She says to him, "Look, me and Kevin didn't sleep with each other while we were away.
Still hilarious that you have to excuse yourself for that, Abby.
I would never cheat on you. Don't worry. I really missed you." Then his phone starts ringing, and he says, "Look, I've got to go."
There's very little in the way of. Was James even in it this week?
No, I don't think so.
Because I would have thought that he would have been doing an awful lot of lurking while in these Abby and Carl scenes, because it's surely only going to be a matter of time before somebody finds out something that's going on there.
Yeah.
This is your. I don't want to talk about this.
No, this is me. I'm really hungry.
Okay.
And I want to have
We've got a long way
dinner.
to go. We've got to finish this. We've got to do the news. We've got to do feedback.
I'm hungry. I haven't had my dinner. And I'm drinking rosé, so I've got stuff on my mind.
Do you need the loo?
No, I want to eat food.
Okay, go on then.
So Carl tells Brody in the cafe he's got another job for him, and then Dylan and Brody get in steal a car, obviously, and they're driving around, and they film this up in Trafford Park by.
Is there that old hotel, the red and yellow?
The one where Roy.
This is where Chesney was running away to.
It's the one where somebody nearly got done for drugs.
Oh, yes, it is that as well, wasn't it? Chesney ran away there, and also Roy was arrested.
Was it?
Yeah,
Not,
it was Roy and Ken.
Ken,
wasn't
that's
it?
the one.
So it's about 5-minute drive, if that, from the Coronation Street studios. But it was so refreshingly lovely to have a scene out there.
But it's not connected to the road.
It's funny. It's like when
it's
they want
close.
It was this was very similar to Craig's death, wasn't it? When they had them driving around outside, but they still end up at the precinct anyway because they can't actually film a proper scene out in the streets. They can just film them driving past. But it was nice. But once upon a time, scenes like this wouldn't stand out because they would always just have them walking down the road in the real life somewhere. But it really was a bit sore thumbish at this point. It's also just a stone's throw away from Peter's AA meeting spot,
that's literally
wasn't it?
across the road.
Yeah. So it was nice to see.
So they're driving. George sees them, and Dylan's phone rings, and it's Betsy. And Brody's like, "Whoa, why are you getting a phone call from her?" And they start swerving around, and they carry on swerving all the way to the precinct, where Betsy is drunk and alone, leaving a message for. I think she was leaving a message for her mum.
Yeah, she was. And
then Lisa, the detective that she is, hears her daughter go, "Hi, Mum, I'm blah blah blah." Ah! Crash and goes, "That's weird." Anyway, so she walks right in front of a car which is being driven by Dylan.
I thought this was a very nice little misdirect because this was in the trailer, wasn't it, that was released a couple of weeks ago for the big Swarla fortnight. Lisa, Betsy and a car careening towards her. So I think lots of people, me included, thought that Betsy was going to be hit by a car. Did you think that was going to happen?
I don't even remember if I knew this was going to happen, but I wasn't excited or anything.
Well, I was. I had the wool pulled over my eyes.
So, meanwhile this is all happening, Carl and Abby are bonking in Debbie's hotel. Just so you know.
Yes,
why are you looking at that?
I'm not looking at anything.
Right, so
literally
Betsy.
No expression.
So Lisa gets this voice message and she's like, "That's weird." Then Betsy calls her again and it's an emergency. So they rush to her side. Betsy's very shaken at the precinct, but it looks as though the car swerved out of her way, hit Tyrone and then drove off.
I'm going to say unlikely that a car would be able to get that much speed up in the precinct. It was literally driving about 5 metres, wasn't it?
Really good.
But I suppose we say the same thing about Rosamond Street whenever they have any accidents there.
Need to put some speed bumps in.
Poor Tyrone. What was he doing there? We found out today he was gone to
getting a
pair of shoes.
A butty.
No. I thought he was getting a pair of shoes for Hope. They said. I don't know where
from. From the pound shop.
No, from Gregory Pope or something. I'm not sure.
I know. Right. So, he's being put on a stretcher. Then Carla phones Fizz and lets her know, and we have the zoom effect, sound effect.
Yes, this is where they had the sound effects. They didn't have it, so I was, saying well done to Coronation Street for not requiring it for the Betsy stuff, but they still had this. Oh, that lost points in my eyes, but I'm sure everybody guessed that. Just confirming that I did not enjoy those sound effects.
So Kevin and Carl are lying around in bed together.
Kevin and Carl are lying around, did you say? Now there's a twist.
This is a twist. Abby and Carl are lying around when Kevin calls
Brothers in
her.
arms.
And Carl's like, Kevin's had you for a week. Oh, it's my turn now. And Kevin is clearly trying to let them know what's happened to Tyrone.
Yeah.
Carla tells Evelyn what's happened to Tyrone, and Roy grabs her stuff and takes her to the hospital. And they mention that he was hit by a grey 4x4, and George says, "Did anybody see who was driving it?" And Betsy's like, "No, I didn't see," which is good, really, because she would have known immediately.
Yeah, but George spends the rest of the week convinced that he knows.
Yeah. So we get the Dobbs State plumber pops because Dorian's there. Dorian.
He was surprisingly silent, wasn't he? He didn't have a lot to say during these scenes. It's obviously very serious. Yeah,
it's worried because Tyrone's got internal bleeding and he's in a bad way. He needs a CT scan, so they're all sitting and
playing
waiting.
Charades.
Yeah, Evelyn.
That was fun.
That was quite funny. Then at the station, Kit gets a call about the case because they found the car, but it's been torched. And then this is when Abby gets home and finds out that Tyrone's been involved in a hit and run, and it's pretty bad. So on Friday, Fizz is told that Tyrone's got some broken bones in his spine.
If I was told that, I'd think that is pretty debilitating, but they seem to make out that he'll be okay.
When she
do it at
says
surgery.
he's got some broken bones in his spine, I think I'd be like, his spine
Yeah.
is made of bones. Do you mean his spine is broken? Are you just trying to make me feel better about it by saying he's got some broken bones in his spine?
A couple of vertebrae. To me that seems like he may be paralysed, but I don't think he will be.
He's going to need surgery in the next few days, and so they go and see him, and he's conscious and he can speak.
It's going to be like when Betsy.
But he's not moving.
He's not going to move for a bit, and then he'll just be
Becky
fine.
came rushing back for that.
Yeah, I know.
So Betsy is with Liam. Liam?
Hmm?
Betsy is with probably
Dylan
in Speeddale. She's worried about Tyrone because she was right there, obviously, and it could have been her that got run over. And he's like, oh, did anyone see who was driving? And she says, no. Brody comes in, and they both look really worried. And then George comes along, and he is very annoyed. And Betsy's...
he's seething because he knows
that they ran him over.
Yes.
Betsy is like, what's going on here? Why is everyone acting weird? And she thinks that Dylan's been telling Brody that they slept with each other and bragging, and tells him it was just a one-off and gets annoyed and goes to leave. And as they're heading off to go, George confronts Dylan and says, I know it was you that was driving. And Dylan's like, no, I can't even drive. How would it have been me? And George is like, because you crashed.
I can't even remember that. I thought it was Brody that was in the driver's seat.
No, I think it was Dylan because Brody grabbed the phone and Dylan started swerving about, but I could be wrong.
I don't remember.
So Dylan's like, I was nowhere near the car. I was nowhere near Tyrone. I didn't hear him. So Kevin shows up at the hospital, and this is when Tyrone is lazing around.
Well, he's lying there. He's told that they're told he's conscious, but he's got his eyes closed and he's just listening. So Kevin talks to him for a bit, but it's later on in the episode where Tyrone starts to talk.
Abby and Carl talk to each other in the lounge of number 13, and Abby is worried because she was with Kevin. She was with Carl when Kevin was looking for her, and she's starting to feel like she's getting over her head.
Yes.
Dylan phones up Carl.
End the affair. It's not too late, Abby, to save yourself.
This is when Dylan phones Carl up, and Abby sees that he's got a phone call from him and isn't answering. And she's like, what does he want? Why is he phoning you? And so Carl tells Abby that Dylan wants him to help him buy a car, and he's just going to ignore him. And then she starts insisting that he answers the phone and grabs it off of him to hear the voice message, which is Dylan saying, hello, have you spoke to Brody? And Abby's like, what the hell is going on here? You need to tell me what's going on. And this is when Carl's like, okay, right, I've been actually stealing cars with Brody and Dylan. And Abby's like, what the hell? What are you doing?
I'm glad that Abby reacted the way she did. Although it was almost a case of, you're almost there, Abby. You're almost seeing him for
Put it together, love.
That he is, but she's still, I think by the end of the episode, she's still kind of forgiving him and calmed down, hasn't she? Because he convinces her, oh, I needed to do something so that we could have this life together.
Yeah.
But I did love, like, she was proper living and giving him a good old pointing at, wasn't she?
Well, they start arguing because he's going, oh, I was only trying to help, I was just trying to help us get money. And Abby's like, well, I don't have any money. And they're like, oh no, what are we going to do? And he says, okay, well, I'll stop doing this now. A likely story. Dylan goes to number 4 to tell Brody about him and George, and he says George doesn't know that it was me and he's not telling anybody. Brody's not worried about it at all. Then we get to see Tyrone telling his family that he was in the precinct buying trainers for Hope, and Fizz says, look, Hope, it's not your fault that he was there and got run over. It's the person who ran him over, and they're scumbags and they're going to find them and put them away for a long time. Speaking of, we get to see Jess turning up with another uniformed officer right as Kit is walking along with Brody and Dylan to arrest Dylan for driving and running people over. And he's like, I didn't do it, I promise. And Brody says, yes, we've been together all day, he didn't do it. And Brody tells Kit that it definitely wasn't them what done it. Can't believe they would lie like that.
Any surprises there?
No.
I'm sorry.
What?
You just literally...
I'm just really hungry.
I know. Look, we can stop and you can have a little snack if you want to, but that was literally just you whizzing through saying everything that happened, and the listeners going, I know, I watched it.
I know, but it was... Okay, it was just another... Like you said it yourself. Someone got run over and somebody did it, and they're pretending they didn't. Next week on Coronation Street... I
guess we're going to see a bit of Sean's reaction this week, and I wonder whether Sean is going to believe Dylan's innocence. Because
you're the one that normally is moaning that you don't care about Kit or what happens to him. So I don't know
no,
why
I don't particularly care about Kit.
So what do you care then?
Oh, because I'm.
Not every story I care about. Do you?
I care more about what's going on with Tyrone than Dylan and Brody.
Yeah, but you're convinced that Tyrone's fine, so there's nothing in that story for you, is there? Compared to what was happening with Lisa and Carla and Becky, this was like, why are we doing this now? We could have made this into another week and done something else.
Especially with only 2 episodes.
Usually when they do like a big week, loads of things happen and they're all really super serious and you're invested in all of them. But somehow I didn't really.
This was the weak link in stories because.
But it should have been huge because of the characters involved.
Yeah, but at least we had Evelyn playing charades. So finally, then we got the show Me the Mummy story. I suggested the Late Show as a suggestion as well because she was late for her. That's what you say when you find out you're pregnant, isn't it? I'm late, but you Show Me the Mummy.
I like that one.
Yeah. This was quite interesting as well because the way that this storyline worked was it was a pregnancy test discovery. Which
this was a double fake out.
It was.
This is brilliant.
And again, this was another thing that I'd seen. I knew that David was going to find a pregnancy test and suspect that it was Lily's. I then was like, well, I think it's Betsy's and that's going to be the reveal. But then when they revealed that it was Shona at the end, that was like, oh, quite a good twist. Had you seen or predicted this particular turn of events?
I was convinced it was either Betsy or Lily because both girls were going, I'm ill.
Well, that's the not so subtle hints that they dropped into the episode, wasn't it?
But it was great. It was great because it was a massive, great big fake out because the woman who wasn't saying she was sick was actually the one who had it. Yeah.
So, Lily's moaning that she's got her periods and Audrey tells David that Lily was being sick last night. And she also gets herself into a fight at school. Did anything come from that? I can't remember what the fight was even about in the end, but I think it was all part of the red herring,
It was about Labubu.
It was about a lad or something or other.
Yeah, Labubu.
As I said earlier, David was on form this week.
David's been great. Since Carla and Lisa moved next door.
Yeah. And
he was floundering a bit.
Well, there was the scene earlier in the episode. I think I accidentally wrote it in one of the other storylines notes when he's looking through. He's like twitching the net curtains, isn't he? He's like, "What's that? Is Carla dropping that box in our bin? How dare she?" It was so funny. And then when he finds this pregnancy test in the bin, I don't know what the direction or what the script says for Jack P. Shepherd to pull, the expression to pull, but he contorts his face into the most like of suspicion, doesn't he? He's literally the eyebrow raised emoji to the extreme, holding this pregnancy test, the camera zooming in on him.
Doesn't it freeze over the Coronation logo?
It was the ad bumper. Yeah.
Hilarious.
It was fantastic.
Cheesy, absolutely. I mean, honestly, are we supposed to be taking anything that's happening in Coronation Street seriously at the moment? Because this is all just a bit ridiculous. And the fact that David was hamming it up so much was...
He was really hamming it up.
Great.
But I think, sometimes that works and sometimes it doesn't work. And, we have a good bit of deving. And I think David wants to get in on the action. Dev's got his deving. Does he want to make daving a thing?
Don't think Daviding works.
I didn't say daving.
No, daving. No, I think it's shepping.
Shepping?
No, Jack P. Shepherding. Or peeing.
Peeing?
Yeah, just peeing around.
He was.
What do you reckon?
Anyway, love that shot. And I was like, oh, who is it? Because he then goes through the whole rigmarole of revealing it to Sarah. I didn't know whose pregnancy test he thought it would be. I wondered whether he was going to go straight to Lily because, again, I honestly, I do try to avoid spoilers, but I knew that he would suspect that it was Lily's pregnancy test. So when he's there waving it triumphantly in front of Sarah Lou in the kitchen going, hey, look what I found. I don't know why he's got that voice. And I was like, why is he happy about it? But yeah, he thinks it's Betsy's. And then we get the brilliant reaction from Sarah. She's like, you do know people are weed on that, and he then goes through for the next 30 seconds. He's desperately washing his hands and going through all the little hand soap, and it was just really, really brilliant performance. And that just took us back to, I think it was Tina McIntyre's pregnancy test, wasn't it, when we came up with the whole wee stick discussion on the podcast, like back in its earlier year. And I was like, why do people always brandish their pregnancy tests and they've been weeing on them? And finally, 10 years into the podcast, that this does get discussed on the show. So brilliant
he washes his hands and he smells them as well.
Oh yes, funny. He does, doesn't he? He's so funny. It was absolutely
and
brilliant. He's
like going, oh, maybe it's Betsy, or maybe it's Carla or Lisa, they got knocked up, and Sarah's like, that's your bin, right? And they have been putting their stuff in your bin, but it's also your bin.
Yes, things do go in the bin that come from this house. And so maybe it's Lily's. And David is like, although like I said, I knew that David was going to suspect this, I was a little bit surprised that he did jump to that conclusion, weren't you?
What, that it was...
Well, I know it was Sarah that jumped to the conclusion, but David was quite quick to go, oh my gosh, you're right, it must be her.
I think it's just because
I would...
Because if you've got a teenage... It's, it's their family history and...
Well, they talk about that, don't they? They say, well, Sarah's almost kind of like defending her and saying, well, it wouldn't be so bad. Look, because what did you say? Look how I turned out. It was so good.
I know, it's so funny. Like, she's oblivious to the fact that nobody wants to turn out like Sarah.
If Lily had got herself pregnant there, that would have been a shock for everybody. So I was quite surprised that David was quite so quick to start rooting through her bag. To try and find evidence that she had a boyfriend or something. But anyway, Lily's there, isn't she? She's listening into them upstairs, and she stomps down and is like, that's not mine, and up she goes. And it was at that point where I was thinking, oh, maybe it is Betsy's. But how could it be Betsy's? Who's she been sleeping with? Oh, is this going to be a Who's the Daddy story with Brody and Dylan? I thought it was going all down that route, and it turned out that it was this massive red herring, because when Shona gets told about it, she's like, well, it was mine.
It was mine all along.
What are your thoughts about Shona being up duff?
Okay.
I was actually quite surprised. I don't think I clocked, even though it obviously showed it and it was very, very clear that it was a positive pregnancy test. I left when...
oh, really?
I think it did, because I left Monday's episode thinking, ooh, I wonder if Shona's pregnant. But apparently it was, yes.
No, I just assumed it was a positive pregnancy test.
No, Monday's episode was left, I think, with no doubt in anyone's mind, apart from mine, apparently, that Shona was pregnant. But yeah, what are your thoughts? Happy for her, or is this a development that the Platt family don't particularly need? Will she have the baby?
This is really difficult, because it encroaches on territory that could be negative about something that's very happy.
Oh, it doesn't matter.
I know, but I'm always conscious of talking about things that could be triggering for people, and like accidentally offending or upsetting people who are in a vulnerable position if they're like pregnant or something. But obviously, immediately I'm thinking this is not going to be plain sailing.
Well, the way that Friday's episode goes, where everything's just pretty much perfect and blissful for them, that was a red flag enough for me that there's going to be some kind of massive wrinkle in the fabric of this future story.
Yeah, exactly. And so I'm like, I can't remember how old Shona is.
Well, David was born 1990, so he's 35 at this point, and I don't think Shona's supposed to be massively different from that. But I think, is Julia a bit closer to us? I can't remember. But yeah, in a way, I'm very chuffed for them, because everybody listening knows that I've been a big, big fan of the David and Shona pairing right from the beginning, and certainly not everybody has been singing from the same hymn sheet as me, because there are a lot of people who were like, no, Kylie was the one for David, but I never really liked Kylie and David, so I've loved these two as a couple, because Julia Goulding and Shona are both fabulous and wonderful, and I love them. So with all that in mind, I'm happy for them. But there is just this little bit of me that's like, is she going to be saddled with a baby? That's a bit boring. I don't know. It depends what the story is that goes with it. But just the idea of Shona having a baby, I don't know. What would she be like as a mum? Assuming she's not her first one, and she's got Clayton, hasn't she? Yeah. This is the Clayton replacement. Clayton's got a little brother and sister on the way. But
I'm just thinking about things like age gaps with the babies. The children, all different ages.
Yeah.
That's a big gap.
Well, I don't think it matters. I think...
I know, but it's a soap. This is the thing. It doesn't... In real life, whatever. But in the soap, I'm thinking, where's the story going? And I'm thinking, this is why it's difficult, because we're talking about something that happens in real life to people, and I don't want anyone to think, or we're sitting here judging and going, oh, well, what about the age gap? Or what about how old? Is she too old? It doesn't matter. But in a soap, all of these things could be where the story's going. It could be like, oh, is she too old to have a baby? No, because Julia Goulding just had a baby.
Oh yeah, of course she did.
Is she? Is something? Is it going to be cause tension between the children because they're slightly older than? They've just done the house up. Is there anywhere for the baby to go? Coronation Street don't give a crap about that.
None of that to me particularly sounds that interesting.
I know. I know.
They don't need. The family doesn't need an extra member. I know they've just shipped off Max and Gail, but it's not feeling like they're lacking. And having a baby is kind of saying, well, maybe in 15 years' time we'll get a story out of this child.
I know.
So.
And they haven't even recast Harry yet.
No, I like the line when, what was it, he comes into the bistro today and David Kit does, doesn't he? And David looks up and like, oh, Harry, you've grown.
I thought that was a joke that they left
reference.
In from Jack P. Shepherd, like, as a joke, like, we haven't recast him yet, but I'm pretty sure it wasn't.
I don't know.
I did, yeah.
So, yeah, the prospect of Shona, I'm very much conflicted with. But now she's pregnant. I don't want her to lose the baby. I don't want there to be, it happened to Daisy. Daisy, we were all kind of like, oh, Daisy's going to be a mum. What's that like? And then she hit by a car, and then that's the end of that. So I don't want anything horrible like that to happen to Shona. But equally, having her tied down being a mum isn't that exciting too. But yeah, the Shona and David fan of me is very, very happy for them. So that's kind of where I am with that, and we'll have to see where it goes.
Yeah, I'm not going to say anything.
Basically, there wasn't a whole lot of this on Friday, was there? It was just this celebration at the Does anybody know, do we know that Sam was working at the bistro now?
Absolutely not.
How old is he? Is he allowed to get a job that's not a paper round?
What are they doing? What are they having dinner for?
I think it was just...
Because Nick goes, oh, it's a good idea to have dinner here.
They're always having dinner.
What do you mean, a good idea to have dinner here?
They're always having dinner there, but they use it as an opportunity to reveal to everybody that Shona is expecting a baby.
Yeah, because loudmouth Sarah goes, how come you're not having any booze, you alcoholic? And Shona says, I just don't fancy it. And Sarah goes, you're pregnant.
That whole... Sam off taking
Sarah.
Someone's order as a mimosa. It was just, and talk
Sarah's
about
such
Harry.
A loudmouth.
Talk about Harry growing up quickly into Kit's size. Sam he's shooting up, isn't he?
Just a little sunflower.
He is. What's gone on with him hiding under desks and being worried about Mick going on the rampage at the school? Is he over that now?
He's supposed to be a waiter. At one point, he sat down with everybody drinking. If I was at another table, I'd be like, what is going on in this bloody place?
I didn't understand that. It almost felt a little bit like somebody else, like Toya was supposed to be there, but they couldn't get Georgia Taylor in for the scenes or something. Well, who else can we get working and that can say a line? I don't know. Does Daniel still work here anymore? No, right? No.
Why couldn't Sam have just gone for dinner with them?
I don't know. It was peculiar, but nice. Always nice to see Sam because I love Sam.
Always nice to see all the flats together as well, and then we get Sarah
minus Max
being tipsy and giving David a hug.
That was lovely, but because they bicker all the time. But those two, they've worked together for 25 years, haven't they, Tina and Jack? And her giving him a big hug and him like, "Is everything all right?" I was waiting for some kind of bombshell. But there was nothing. Even that scene ended with David looking over and seeing Shona sitting down at the table and giving her a genuinely loving, warm-hearted smile, which...
Klaxons going off.
Coming from David, maybe that's the warning sign. Like, David never looks at anybody with genuine affection.
I'm just really worried. Where
was the wry grin?
Where is this going?
And then at the end of the episode, they're snuggling on the sofa and trying to figure out how big their baby is, and it's apparently the size of a tree frog, talking about, oh, we've got a little froglet jumping inside of me. It was just absolutely lovely, and I guess contrasted very nicely with the mega drama that's going on just next door. But I really am appreciative that Corrie put this story in this week because it was just nice.
But do you think that it will actually be a happy story, or do you think something terrible?
No, genuinely, it feels like something terrible is going to happen, but I'm enjoying the loveliness while I can.
They look too happy.
They look far too happy.
It's exactly like when when Lisa and Carla are like, we're invincible, whatever.
Yeah,
it's like,
it
don't be happy about anything.
But no, I love it while I can, and that's why, again, I really loved today's episode. I wasn't projecting future disaster. I wasn't going to let that spoil my enjoyment of today's episode. It was just, all in all, I was just so pleased for today's episode. I absolutely loved it. This was a great week. I mean, there's only 2 episodes, but I haven't got much to fault it with, honestly. I could have maybe done without the Tyrone story, but it added its own kind of little interesting extra beat. I think it was because it was Carl and Abby getting back together again, which was a bit of a downer for me. But everything to do with the Carla and Lisa storyline, I was on the edge of my seat. And the who's the mummy, I guess it was, wasn't it, with the pregnancy kit? I can't fault
Pregnancy
that.
kit.
So yeah, I haven't actually thought of any things to score this out of this week.
Maybe Sarah will get pregnant with Kit's baby.
Maybe.
And then Shona and Sarah will be pregnant at the same time.
Is this definitely going to turn out to be David's baby?
Oh, God.
Shona's not been playing around when she's not been off screen, has she?
You take that out of your mouth.
She did it with Kit, didn't
she?
She maybe he just had a dormant sperm cell just sitting there inside of her, just waiting to swim to the egg.
Miracle.
I think it's quite fitting that Shona has been buttering buns for all these years, and now she's got one of her own in her oven.
What a beautiful metaphor.
I am scoring this week's Coronation Street, and this is a score I often reserve for the big old stump weeks. I'm going to give this 4.5 little froglets hopping around inside Shona out of 5.
Last week 4.5, didn't I?
Did you? I can't remember, but
so.
I don't think I've given 4.5 for a very long time. But I am leaving this week very much satisfied.
Oh man, this is difficult because I don't want to give it 3.5, but I don't think it deserves 4.
Really?
Because I just like...
Just because of you don't feel satisfied that they've explained Becky's absence in a way that satisfies you.
See, it's really frustrating because I was like, yeah, Becky Swain, oh, it's great, it's amazing. And I, like, for like weeks and months, since the idea was put into my head that she might be alive, I've been like, yeah, it'd be really great, it'd be brilliant. And now it's come to fruition, I'm like, it's actually... annoying and complicated, just like all the people warned me that it would be. I think I will give it 4.
4
because 3.5 it seems a bit.
3.5 seems low for a week that I haven't got anything to score it out of. Gemma's desperately searching the notes for where I type in options, and I haven't this week. So you're gonna have to use your own wit. I'm
gonna give it 4 World War II birthday cakes.
World War II. What do we say about it?
I said it looked like one of those fake cloches that looks like a cake that you cover up. The real sad cake that's made out of sawdust and potato peelings.
Who's your character of the week, Gemma?
To fight Hitler. It's a Hitler cake.
Who's your character of the week?
Who should it be? Is it going to be the abominable Becky Swain? He's just like Bigfoot. Everybody thought that she was real, and now she's revealed herself. It's not as exciting as I thought it was going to be.
You give it to Becky Swain. I did very much enjoy.
I think it's going to be. It should be Lisa.
I was thinking that. And that's why I wanted you to say it first, because I'm also giving this to Lisa this week.
Vicky Myers was absolutely phenomenal. The scene where she's reacting. When she first sees Becky and she drops her glass and starts having a panic attack, that was amazing. And also the scene where she held Becky's face in her hands, that was great as well. She's just really great.
She really did a superb job this week. Very, very good stuff. And so I guess it's this actor of the week, is it? I don't know. But I do love the fact that I guess that Lisa is standing her ground and kind of sticking to her girl with Carla as well, and not just immediately falling back into Becky's arms, even though there will be bumps.
I know that she's been betrayed, but it does seem like it's completely out of the question that she would ever get back together with Becky, like they broke up. But I don't think that rings a bit weird to me, because I do think that you would think a bit more about it, and maybe she will. I don't know.
I think she will.
What is Betsy going to say? Is Betsy going to be like, Mum, why aren't you together?
Yeah, well, like we said, I would not be surprised whatsoever if Betsy doesn't go off.
Yeah, I know.
I can picture Becky gets a flat in the precinct.
Yes, probably.
Betsy goes there and stays with her. Oh, look, it's this flat that MND Shelley stayed in.
Do you think she's gonna be a police officer again? It depends on whether.
So.
It depends on
Has
whether.
she been doing a bit of policing in Spain?
Depends on whether she was actually telling the truth about what happened and whether Costello is dodgy or not. I just don't. I think it's all a big load of crap. It's all fibs. She's lying, and she and Costello got in over their heads, and she had to skedaddle quick. And nobody else knew that it was that she was pretending to be dead, and it was all just Costello. And it really was just a low key funeral because nobody liked Becky, and she was a bit of a cow.
Well, not long until we find out, Gemma, because I'm sure there will be plenty more revelations on Monday's Coronation Street.
Okay.
No, what?
I'm just saying, if it was all like that, then I don't see how Becky can stay on the show, because she will get arrested if it all comes out.
I've got no idea whatsoever how long Becky's going to stay on the show.
I don't know where this is going.
No, in my head, she's going to stick around for, 6 months or so maybe. But I could be, wildly out there. I got no clue. What would you say?
About
how long you're expecting?
What did you say?
I said about 6 months.
Takes us into... Oh, man, I am not...
She's going to be here at Christmas.
Yeah, she's going to be here, I think. I can't make predictions about certain things. I'm going to say that she's going to be around until very early next year.
Okay, fine. Right, we've talked plenty about this week's Coronation Street, so I suppose we'd better stop. Hope you enjoyed that. I hope we didn't ramble on for too much. It was great. It was a really great week.